Part 38. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 376. Gu's mother actually doesn't want to change her house, mainly because she is used to living here, and her neighbors and friends are also here, but it is not feasible not to change, because since Gu Huiyan became famous, people often knock on their door even if Gu Huiyan is not at home. She is Gu Huiyan's mother, so she is very enthusiastic. At first it was fine once or twice, and Gu's mother was quite happy, but later she got a headache. Then buy a house. After looking around, there was nothing satisfactory. Mother Gu was interested in a garden house and villa area with a good location. People of her age seemed to be a bit obsessed with living in a villa, and the villa had a lot of space. Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu lived in a comfortable place when they came back. Just buy a villa. Next time Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu come back, they will probably go to a new home. If you are tired, just tell my mother. Do you still have to go see me today? Gu Huiyan is quite detail-oriented. When Pei Jingshu went back to the house to change clothes, she could see that she was tired in her eyes. As a female star, although she was used to staying up late, people are not incorrigible after all. If you don't sleep at night, you won't be in good spirits. It does not matter. Pei Jingshu smiled and shook her head, saying that she had plenty of time to rest these days anyway, and if her aunt wanted to go, she could go with her, it didn't hurt. Why are you all so sensible? Gu Huiyan was originally slumped on the bed, but now he also sat up, raised his hand and wrapped it around the waist of Pei Jingshu, who was changing clothes from behind, and put his face against her back. Thin, tender, and fragrant, this is probably the most intuitive feeling when Gu Huiyan hugs Pei Jing's waist. Sometimes, Gu Huiyan also wonders. In the past, when watching TV series, he often saw various stories about the conflict between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law, with all kinds of bells and whistles and tricky angles. They are a very harmonious group here. Gu Ma and Pei Jingshu are so close that Gu Huiyan and Gu Zun seem like two outsiders. Isn't it good to be sensible? Pei Jingshu found a pink down jacket from the box, gently tugged Gu Huiyan's hand around her waist, and said, "Okay, stop hugging me. Are you still tired of being hugged every day?" As she said that, she turned her head and rolled her eyes at Gu Huiyan, saying that she slowly found that she was now a little used to Gu Huiyan's spicy hands and a little resistant. Obviously I used to be a little shy when holding hands and going shopping. Not tired? Gu Huiyan smiled mischievously and said, "I wish I could hug you every second. Pretty greasy." Pei Jingshu said unceremoniously. She turned around, and Gu Huiyan held her belly, as if she was pregnant, and listened for the sound of the fetus. She didn't know why she thought of this, which made Pei Jingshu a little ashamed. She pushed Gu Huiyan and said, "Auntie is waiting outside. Do you want to come back and give me a hug? Or do you want to go with me? Don't go." Gu Huiyan shook his head and said, "I'll be dead if I don't get some sleep." "Then relax. I don't want to let go." Gu Huiyan raised his head and looked up at Pei Jingshu. Not sure if it was an illusion, but Gu Huiyan always felt that Pei Jingshu's hair had grown a lot recently, especially from his perspective. "There's really nothing I can do about you." It had not been a day or two since she had known Gu Huiyan. Pei Jingshu certainly knew what it would take for Gu Huiyan, a scoundrel, to let go of her. Turning her head and looking in the direction of the door, after confirming that there was no movement, she raised her jade hand and gently touched her hair, then bowed slightly, blushed, lowered her head and kissed Gu Huiyan's mouth. Well, she just wanted a simple kiss. Wouldn't Gu Huiyan just let her go? Who would have known that this old lady would take things a step further, and instead of just kissing her twice, she would hug Pei Jingshu's shoulders and turn over. "Ah!" He directly pressed Pei Jingshu on the bed. "Turn sideways and lower your head to kiss her. Don't. Pei Jingshu was shy and scared at the moment. She didn't dare to say anything. After all, there were people outside. This was her first time at Gu Huayan's house. What if her aunt heard a strange sound and affected her impression of her? Gu Huayan really couldn't be so presumptuous even in his own home, right? She was recommending Gu Huayan and reminded him. Have you forgotten what I did these days? Are you afraid that you are going to run a red light? I haven't forgotten. Gu Huayan said with a swish smile. Then we can't play house, how about a few kisses? Even if relatives come, kissing, hugging, and holding them high will not affect it, right? Did you only kiss a few times? Pei Jingshu blushed and rolled her eyes at Gu Huayan, not even wanting to point out his hand on her thigh. This man was really showing off his face. Oh, don't worry about so many details. Gu Huayan waved his hand without waiting for Pei Jingshu to stop. Well. He held her down again. Just then. Brother Chow and the others said they would come over to find you later, that. Guzun's voice suddenly came from outside the door, and before Gu Huayan and Pei Jingshu could react, the boy opened the door and came in. And when Guzun opened the door and saw the scene inside, the expression on his young face suddenly solidified. I go. Gu Huayan was startled, and of course Pei Jingshu was even more panicked. The two of them sat up in a hurry. Pei Jingshu blushed and turned her head to the side, not daring to look at the door, and kept hiding behind Gu Huayan. Gu Huayan's old face was also a little embarrassed, and he couldn't help shouting to Guzun at the door. You don't know how to knock when you come in? Do you just open the door and go in? Guzun was stunned and didn't know how to answer. Gu Huayan rarely went home. There were only two people at home, mother and son. So why did he have the habit of knocking on the door? Get out. Gu Huayan became angry, incompetent and furious. Guzun immediately ran away. Guzun is gone, but Gu Huayan in the room is not feeling well. It's all your fault. Pei Jingshu's pretty face turned red, but she couldn't help raising her beautiful hand and patted Gu Huayan several times. She blamed Gu Huayan for insisting on doing this. He knew that there were people outside who were still like this, so now it was better to let his brother see it. How will her sister-in-law have any dignity in the future? Okay. Gu Huayan would definitely not talk back, he would just comfort her and say it doesn't matter, it's okay, no big deal. Pei Jingshu was so ashamed that she couldn't get rid of her blush no matter what. She even told Gu Huayan to go out and tell her aunt if she could not go. She was so ashamed that she didn't dare to see people anymore. Gu Huayan hurriedly said, no, it's not that bad. It's not that exaggerated. You blush very beautifully. All in all, it's a compliment. After a while, Pei Jingshu finally stopped blushing so much, glared at Gu Huayan, straightened up her manners and went out. When she went out, Gu's mother was already waiting. Fortunately, Guzun was more sensible and didn't tell her mother what she just saw. Otherwise, Pei Jingshu would really be embarrassed to see anyone. After Pei Jingshu and Gu's mother left, Gu Huayan took Guzun to make repairs, and then went back to his room to sleep after he was angry enough. He should sleep until 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. A friend came to see him. It was Su Chao, a young man who just got married this year, and brought his wife. He was very normal. His wife was very happy to see Gu Huayan and asked for an autograph excitedly. Taking a group photo or something. Not only his wife, but also some of his best friends came, and the good guys made Gu Huayan's family quite lively. And somehow the news about Gu Huayan's return home for the new year leaked out. Not long after Su Chao arrived, some neighbors came to the house. A little later, a few more relatives came to the house. The relatives are definitely not starstruck, but they are bringing the younger members of the family. They have cousins that Gu Huayan knows and their friends. In short, people are much older. When Su Chao came, Gu Huiyan felt it was troublesome, but as the crowd became more and more crowded, Gu Huiyan simply asked Su Chao to help pour tea, which really came in handy. Gu Huiyan really sent off batch after batch. He was so exhausted from those who welcomed and sent them off, and the physical strength he had recovered after finally taking a nap in the afternoon was almost exhausted. What a coincidence! The front foot sent the person away, and the back foot Gu Ma came back with Pei Jingshu. It was quite late at that time, after 6 o'clock, and a large table of dishes was not finished at noon. Gu Huiyan thought that Gu's mother planned to have some hot food in the evening, but Gu's mother claimed that how could she let Pei Jingshu eat the leftovers? I simply took the whole family out to eat out. Many stores on the street are actually closed on New Year's Day, but there is an old store they often go to. The owner's home is in the store and it is not closed during the New Year. On the way, Gu Huiyan recounted the tragic experience of the afternoon with a headache on his face. Pei Jingshu snickered next to him after hearing this. Gu Huiyan couldn't help but frown when he saw it. Do you know something? Pei Jingshu then smiled and told Gu Huiyan that she met many acquaintances when she went out with Gu's mother, and almost everyone she met to say hello introduced Pei Jingshu, saying that she was her son's girlfriend. Who doesn't know Gu Huiyan around me? As an A-list star with a high nationality, Gu Huiyan has long become a local celebrity. As for Gu Huiyan's girlfriend, that is even more popular. Big star Pei Jingshu. Almost every acquaintance I met praised Pei Jingshu for her beauty. With her appearance and temperament in this small county town, hundreds of girls combined might not be enough to beat her. That would be an envy for a group of acquaintances. It was also because of Mother Gu's way of showing off that almost everyone knew that her son was back. My son is a big star, so what if I tell others? So strictly speaking, a large part of the reason why there were so many people at home this afternoon was because of Mother Gu. Mom. After listening to Pei Jingshu's explanation, Gu Huiyan, who was driving, looked at his mother with a look of despair. Cough. Gu Ma was a little embarrassed, but she was not in a position to be accused by her son. She said firmly. Those are the neighbors and our own relatives. They won't harm you. Why don't you just take a photo? You usually take photos of others. Gu Huiyan couldn't refute what he said. He didn't care. He was just inviting his neighbors, relatives, and friends to have a cup of tea. But Pei Jingshu. Gu Huiyan asked Pei Jingshu if she had been asked to take photos and sign autographs because of this. He was really afraid that Gu Ma's high profile would cause trouble to her. Pei Jingshu shook her head and said no. She smiled and explained to Gu Huiyan that Gu's mother was just an introduction. Whenever someone wanted to take photos or sign autographs, she said it was inconvenient. They were rushing to see the house, so she avoided them. She protected Pei Jingshu very well and didn't let anyone affect her at all. If you really want someone to be so shameless, Gu Ma will tell you to go home. Gu Huiyan is at home, ask him for it. Mom. Gu Huiyan gritted his teeth after hearing this. You are really my mother. He really takes all the blame and protects his daughter-in-law well. Nonsense, what do you mean? Gu's mother didn't feel that she had done anything wrong at all, but Gu Huiyan commented on the fact that Gu's mother only introduced Pei Jingshu and did not allow others to take photos with her. Hooliganism. You let everyone recognize you, but you didn't let anyone take a photo or anything. Aren't you just being a hooligan? This word made Gu Ma very angry. If Gu Huiyan hadn't been driving and pulling his ears up and down for 2 days. Pei Jingshu was giggling the whole time, not trying to argue, just watching. No matter how quarreling the mother and son are, they are still close. If you try to deflect them, no matter who you are facing, it will easily make you a human being. Pei Jingshu knows this very well. While eating, Gu Huiyan asked again how the house was going. Gu's mother said it was still early. It was only half installed. Even if it was finished, it would have to be left to dry for half a year. there was formaldehyde. There are also professional formaldehyde treatment companies, but Gu's mother doesn't really believe in this trick, so she still plans to let it dry naturally. Speaking of going to see the house today, Mother Gu also praised Pei Jingshu a lot, saying that Pei Jingshu gave a lot of guidance today. She doesn't know much about decoration. She says she focuses on decoration, but in fact, she basically chooses the more expensive materials. She thinks the more expensive the better. But many things are not like this. Pei Jingshu definitely doesn't know anything about decoration. It would be strange for a female star to understand this. But she knew what her own home was like, so couldn't she just paint a picture of a gourd? So I just said a few words casually, but I didn't expect it to come in handy. To be honest, it's not like I'm an expert. The guiding opinions in Ma Gu's mouth are even more exaggerated. But who makes Ma Gu like her very much? If you want to praise her, you can always find reasons for it. And there is one more thing that I have to mention, that is, Pei Jingshu told Gu Ma whether she could leave a room for Gu Huiyan to make a simple home music room with some musical instruments, music equipment, etc. After all, if you are in this industry, you should have your own entertainment room. Pei Jingshu's consideration for Gu Huiyan also made Gu's mother more and more satisfied. I think you two can live there after pretending. Gu Huiyan listened to the whole process and said sourly while eating. It feels like you two are more like a family. He and Guzun seemed like outsiders. Guzun felt the same and nodded naively. Eat your food. Gu Ma glared at him. I can't stop your mouth by eating. This time it was Pei Jingshu's turn to feel the same, and she nodded in agreement. Gu Huiyan held his forehead silently, and now the two of them really became a family. He may look helpless on the surface, but in fact Gu Huiyan is quite happy. His girlfriend and her mother are getting along well, so he should be happy too. It was already late when I returned home after dinner. After washing up, Gu Huiyan consciously went into her room, intending to sleep with Pei Jingshu. But when I went back to the room, I found Gu's mother cleaning and changing the bed sheets. At first, Gu Huiyan was quite happy. She felt that she was her own mother, but she was just a talker and a mouthful of fuss. She said she was disgusted. Isn't this better? My son got new bedding? When he was lying here during the day, Gu Huiyan knew that the quilt had just been sun-baked, so he was thoughtful. But just when he was about to thank his mother, Gu's mother suddenly looked at him, then waved her hand and said, "Why did you come in? Go sleep in your brother's room." Ah. Gu Huiyan was stunned at that time. What do you mean? Wasn't this paved for him? Jingshu sleeps here, you go and sleep with Guzun. Gu Ma said naturally. No. We can just sleep in the same room, Gu Huiyan said casually. Do you want to be shameless? Gu's mother glared at him. Her family's house had 3 bedrooms and 2 living rooms. It was not very big. Usually, there were 3 people living in a room, 1 for each mother and 2 children. Basically, it was not easy to live in the house when people came over. Gu's mother originally planned to open a room in a nearby hotel for Pei Jingshu, but she felt that it was inappropriate for her daughter to live outside during the Chinese New Year. If you live at home, you definitely can't sleep in the same room with Gu Huiyan. The elders always have old ideas and think, how can you sleep in the same room without getting married? Let's sleep with her. I'm afraid of wronging Pei Jingshu, so I must give her a separate room. Gu Huiyan's room has good lighting. Gu's mother specially cleaned it before he came back. It is very clean. Pei Jingshu will not dislike Gu Huiyan, so it is just enough for her to live in. As for whether Gu Huiyan would be wronged by asking him to share a room with Guzun, that doesn't matter. If you feel wronged, just feel wronged. The order given by your biological mother was for your own girlfriend, so what else could she do to wrong you? So Gu Ma didn't consider Gu Huiyan's feelings at all. You really don't regard me as a human being, do you? After Gu Huiyan heard the whole story, he suddenly felt that he seemed so unnecessary in this family. Pook. Later, Pei Jingshu came over and heard what happened and was made to giggle. Of course she would not tell Ma Gu that she and Gu Huiyan had slept together for a long time. She also wanted to save face. Gu Ma's kindness is exactly what she wants, and it also saves someone from having a hard time at night. He doesn't know how to run a red light, but he can't change his bad habit of groping. No, you. At that time, Gu Huiyan didn't know what to say. He gave Pei Jingshu a look and expected Pei Jingshu to say something for him. Gu Huiyan used to sleep in the same bed as Guzun when he was a child. This kid had a bad habit at night. Molar. I don't know if it's gone now, but Gu Huiyan's psychological shadow is definitely not gone. Sharing a bed with Guzun would be too fatal. But Pei Jingshu only gave him a helpless look. Gu Ma respected her so much that if she asked to sleep with Gu Huiyan, she would look very casual. Gu Huiyan felt a little collapsed for a while. It was so late at night, and he didn't know if he was sick, so he put on his down jacket and went out. Why are you going? Pei Jingshu shouted at his back. I'll go out and find a hotel to sleep in. Gu Huiyan said angrily. You are a family and I am an outsider. Puff. Ha ha ha. Gu Ma, Guzun, and Pei Jingshu in the back all couldn't help laughing. For a few moments, Gu's mother felt a little sorry for her son. Of course, only for a short while. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 377. The mother is used to seeing her son having a bad temper, and she definitely won't get used to it. She doesn't care about Gu Huiyan. She just wants him to leave. Gu Ma knows very well that Gu Huiyan will be back soon. Let me go and see him. Pei Jingshu, on the other hand, had already changed into white pajamas. A look of worry flashed across her face, then she walked to the door, put on her black down jacket, opened the door and chased out while wearing slippers. Don't worry about him, it's so cold outside. Mother Gu didn't feel sorry for her son, but she actually felt sorry for Pei Jingshu. It doesn't matter. Pei Jingshu smiled, but her footsteps did not stop at all. Tisk tisk. Looking at this scene, Gu Ma felt a little emotional. Although they had only been together for a short time, she was really satisfied with Pei Jingshu, her prospective daughter-in-law. Appearance, personality, emotional intelligence, politeness, etc. are all completely impeccable. I really don't know how many blessings this kid Gu Huiyan has cultivated in his lifetime. Ta-ta. When Pei Jingshu chased out wearing the white cotton slippers bought by Gu's mother, she happened to see Gu Huiyan squatting at the entrance of the corridor. I don't know what I'm doing while holding my phone. The weather was so cold on the first night of the new year. There were not many people in the corridor or outside. Gu Huiyan was squatting there alone, which made Pei Jingshu feel a little distressed. Why are you so angry? Isn't this your own home? Looking at her ignorant boyfriend Pei Jingshu, she wanted to laugh a little, but she didn't mind being dirty. She put her beautiful hands on her waist, habitually rubbed them along her hips to the heels of her thighs, and sat down on her clothes. On the stairs, next to Gu Huiyan. This is too different. Gu Huiyan didn't have anything to be ashamed of. The king of music who usually conquered countless people with his singing on stage was now like an angry child. Sometimes, Pei Jingshu also feels that Gu Huiyan is a bit naive, but how should I put it? It's just that she doesn't hate it. People say that men remain young until they die, and some men remain childish until they grow old, but it is precisely because of their childishness that they will not change. All right. She raised her delicate hand and pulled Gu Huiyan's cell phone back, stopping him from actually booking a hotel. She stretched out her hand and hugged Gu Huiyan's neck, and inserted body and hair fragrance into Gu Huiyan's nose as if it was free of charge. Blushing, he whispered in Gu Huiyan's ear. At worst, I'll just leave the door open for you tonight. Gu Huiyan was a little stunned by what he said. Soon, a pair of 24K titanium alloy pure dog eyes burst out with fiery light. Cough. He coughed lightly, raised his arms and hugged Pei Jingshu's slender waist, and said, "Okay, I'm just joking, how can I really go out to live? I'm not a child anymore, how can I lose my temper?" Pei Jingshu stood up with a red face and rolled her eyes at him angrily, thinking to herself, if I hadn't told you that I would leave a house for you, I might actually go out to live tonight. Do you think you are not naive? Let's go back, it's so cold outside. Gu Huiyan helped Pei Jingshu tighten her down jacket, her attitude completely changed 180 degrees from before. It was late at night, and the temperature had dropped to below zero. It was not that cold because there was a heater in the corridor. If I had left it outside, I would have really caught a cold. Pei Jingshu smiled helplessly. Gu Huiyan was really like a child, easy to get on, but also easy to get down, very easy to coax. Give him a little candy and he immediately becomes docile. Click, click, click. At this moment, on the hill outside a little far away from Gu Huiyan's house, someone was holding a camera and taking photos through the window of Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu, who were sitting in the corridor inside. I won't let them go even if I go to my hometown. The next morning, Gu Huiyan must have slept in Pei Jingshu's room. To be precise, it was the room occupied by Pei Jingshu. In the first half of the night, he played in Guzun's room. In the second half of the night, when Gu's mother went to bed, he sneaked into Pei Jingshu's room. The fragrant bed was almost warmed by Pei Jingshu. Gu Huiyan seemed a little cold when he entered. I definitely didn't do much at night. It's not convenient for Pei Jingshu these days. But you said it's impossible without dirty hands. The man's true nature is just there. I'll go out to attract Auntie's attention, and you can sneak out while you can, do you hear me? Early in the morning, Pei Jingshu got dressed early. Today she chose a black and white striped sweater and a pair of white pants. The two clothes seemed simple, but they looked very elegant when worn on her. The same thing, the two pieces of clothing are also worth a lot of money. They seem to be endorsed by big brands. Come here, because you know that Gu Huiyan's family is not that rich, and you are afraid that Gu Huiyan's mother will think that she is spending a lot of money, so the clothes you bring are mostly simple, not very expensive, only a few thousand yuan. But after spending time with Gu's mother yesterday, Pei Jingshu felt that Gu's mother didn't seem to care about these things. They belong to this generation and it doesn't matter how miserable their life is. Their children must be well clothed and well used. Now that Gu Huiyan's income is so high, if their food and clothing are poor, then Gu's mother will be unhappy. This can be seen from the fact that Gu Ma took out a red envelope of more than 600,000 yuan. She is indeed prone to worrying too much sometimes. Well, I'll sleep a little longer. Gu Huiyan rubbed his eyes drowsily, not forgetting to grab Pei Jingshu's hand. Yesterday afternoon, I entertained people, but I had to wait for my family to go to sleep before I came in. I couldn't sleep well, so why would I want to get up early? Gu Huiyan was speechless when talking about this matter. Why would MD behave like a thief in his own home? Pei Jingshu glanced at him, said nothing, got up and went out. She said she would sleep a little longer, but in fact, when Pei Jingshu got up and Gu Huiyan didn't feel sleepy anymore, she originally wanted to check her phone to see what time it was, but when she turned it on. What the hell? He came across a strange entry. Called. #Gu Huiyan was suspected of having a conflict with his family, Pei Jingshu came out to comfort him. #. Inside are some pictures taken from very exaggerated angles, through windows and at ultra telephoto distances. Very mushy. How confused is it? That is. At most, you can tell that these two people are humans, not animals. They are wearing clothes, but nothing else can tell them apart. That's it. People just insisted that it was Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu. Say what? Well, Gu Huiyan had a conflict with his family in the middle of the night. He got angry and slammed the door. The boss's voice came from the house. It seemed that his family was dissatisfied with Pei Jingshu. Wait. What an exaggeration. The key is that there are quite a few melon eaters below, and they all expressed. No way, are you still having conflicts during this Chinese New Year? Gu Huiyan's mother is a nice person. I've eaten skewers in their store. Why would there be a quarrel? It's hard for me to imagine that anyone would be dissatisfied with Sister Pei. Looking at that attitude, it seems like it's just a conflict between Lao Lu and his family. It has nothing to do with Sister Pei, right? But the problem is that when Sister Pei went home to celebrate the New Year with him, he still got angry with his family. This is not right in itself, right? Maybe it's because of the paparazzi's writing, but the rhythm is inexplicably strange, which is a bit disadvantageous for Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu. Fortunately, it wasn't on the hot search, and the popularity wasn't very high, otherwise it would have been roasted on the fire again. Should I knock it inside? Gu Huiyan's mouth twitched and he was so angry that he didn't feel sleepy anymore. He put on his clothes and rushed out to show Pei Jingshu. Pei Jingshu, who saw the news, was also dumbfounded and said, "Let's explain." So the two of them started a short live broadcast at Gu Huiyan's house without eating early in the morning. Together with the screen recording, they recounted what happened last night. Puff. Ha ha ha. Netizens who heard what happened laughed like crazy, and they all said the following. Is my brother so miserable? It's because he was too good to Pei Jingshu and neglected his own son. Instead, people said that his mother was dissatisfied with Pei Jingshu. These paparazzi really don't deserve to be human. The paparazzi also said, it's suspicious, understand? It's suspicious. It's really just a mouth to spread rumors. I almost went to fight for Sister Pei. No one really feels sorry for Gu Huiyan. I went home during the Chinese New Year to make room for my girlfriend, ha ha ha. When they first saw the hot search, some fans were worried that Pei Jingshu would be wronged at Gu Huiyan's house. After hearing what happened, well, I felt completely relieved. I felt relieved here, but Gu Huiyan next door was laughing like crazy. It was hard to imagine that my own son would be left out in the cold when he came home and he wouldn't even have a room to sleep in. So how did it resolve in the end? Some people are curious about how Pei Jingshu comforted Gu Huiyan. When mentioning this, Pei Jingshu was speechless and glanced at Gu Huiyan. Gu Huiyan didn't know what to say, so how could he tell everyone that Pei Jingshu had left the door open for him at night, and he sneaked in at night? This generation of netizens are also ruthless and have good brains. They looked at these two and were reluctant to say anything, so they simply changed their words. Just tell me, did you two sleep together last night? Gu Huiyan saw this question and subconsciously said. We slept together, but, well. Halfway through his words, Pei Jingshu covered his mouth. Pei Jingshu's pretty face turned red, her eyes widened, and she looked at Gu Huiyan with an expression of have you no brains. Gu Huiyan also realized at once that he had accidentally let something slip. See? Oh. Did your kid sneak into Sister Pei's room last night? Did Sister Pei leave the door open for you? Okay, you won't be honest at home, kid. A group of people started to boo. Not like this. I made Pei Jingshu blush. I want to explain it, but I don't know how to explain it. In the end, I really couldn't hold back, so I had to briefly explain a few words, telling everyone that they had no conflict last night and it was just a joke, and then the broadcast was hastily ended. It's all your fault. As soon as the live broadcast ended, Pei Jingshu couldn't help but blush and pat Gu Huiyan a few times. This person really has no clue. Gu Huiyan said, "Can you blame me? Isn't that why those people tried to trick me?" Pei Jingshu said, "You just said it when someone tried to trick you. Your words are too good to be true." Early in the morning, the two people started chatting there. It was said to be chirping, but there was nothing angry about it, it was more like flirting. In the end, Gu Huiyan hugged Pei Jingshu and begged for mercy for a while, and Pei Jingshu didn't mind anymore. This actually made Gu Zun, who got up late, eat a mouthful of dog food. Later, when Gu's mother heard about this, she slapped Gu Huiyan. "Why? First, your kid was criticized for his temper and almost got your mother in trouble. Second, did you sneak into Pei Jingshu's room last night? You turned a deaf ear to everything I said to you, right? You don't care so much about someone else's daughter's reputation, right?" Mother Gu didn't know about this at first. She went out to buy things in the morning, but she was not there when Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu came out of the room. But who asked the two of them to be tricked by netizens during a live broadcast to explain? This made Gu Ma very angry. Gu Huiyan was really dishonest. "Mom, you are also surfing on 8G. Gu Huiyan's mouth twitched and he couldn't help but complain. "You still say it?" Gu Ma glared at him, and he immediately cowered and begged for mercy. Pei Jingshu blushed and couldn't help but laugh. She really didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Today is the second day of junior high school. It is supposed to be time to go back to my parents' home. Every year, Gu Huiyan's family goes to Grandma's house. Grandma's house is in the village, and there are two uncles. They have to make a trip today, and the trunk is basically full of big and small bags. It was full, and the things she brought were quite expensive. Mother Gu even bought a jade bracelet for Grandma Gu Huiyan. This is not for the sake of face, but mainly because Gu Huiyan is famous now. You can't be too stingy when buying things to visit relatives during the holidays, as it is easy for others to talk about you. Another point is, women are always willing to buy more things for their natal family. When they were little, Gu's mother took her two sons back to her natal family to buy a lot of things. After breakfast, the family went out. Logically speaking, Pei Jingshu, who has never been married, has no reason to follow their family to visit relatives, but they come all the way. Can you let them stay at home alone? Just join in the fun. It is worth mentioning that Pei Jingshu heard Gu Huiyan say before that Shandong people were so courteous in giving gifts during the New Year, and felt that Gu Huiyan was exaggerating. It was really eye-opening when he arrived at his two uncles' houses. There was no good guy who didn't stuff his things back before leaving. Even though the gifts I got were quite expensive, they didn't feel bad at all and just sent them back. That's so polite. An uncle sent him from his home to Grandma Gu Huiyan's home, which was an exaggeration. Now you know I wasn't bragging, right? Gu Huiyan laughed while walking on the path in the village. As he was walking, he heard over there. Crack, crack. There was a burst of firecrackers, and it seemed that there were a few children setting off firecrackers there. Shall we also buy a few boxes to play with? Just passing by a small store in the village, Gu Huiyan took Pei Jingshu to buy 2 boxes. Are you still a child? Pei Jingshu looked a little helpless. Sometimes she didn't understand Gu Huiyan's fun, but seeing him happy when he set off firecrackers was from the bottom of her heart, which made Pei Jingshu couldn't help but become happy along with him. Because there is no shelter in the village, it is actually slightly colder than in the city. Both of them were wrapped in thick down jackets. But when the firecrackers were set off, Gu Huiyan was so happy that Pei Jingshu couldn't feel the cold at all. Let's play together. Gu Huiyan didn't feel like doing it by himself, so he took Pei Jingshu to do it with him. When he had nothing to do, he ran to the field to find some rocks to press on the firecrackers and play with them. Pei Jingshu said it was a child's toy, but she had hardly played with it when she was a child. It was quite new, but to be honest, she was a little scared, so she didn't play much, but she was happy and it was quite interesting. Bar. At this moment, the two of them are not the king and queen who can arouse cheers when they appear on the stage, but they are just ordinary young lovers who go home to celebrate the new year. Later, this matter became a hot search topic, called #Gu Huiyan takes Pei Jingshu back to the village to set off firecrackers. Hashtag. Many fans were dumbfounded. It was said that the last time Gu Huiyan took Pei Jingshu back to the village was in the summer. At that time, the two of them frequently mentioned hot topics. In other words, everyone is used to Gu Huiyan's formula, otherwise you must ask. Are you serious about setting off firecrackers in the village with your goddess? Speaking of which, everyone also admires Pei Jingshu. Except for the Spring Festival Gala, she has never disliked Gu Huiyan. It is hard to imagine that Pei Jingshu, the domestic entertainment goddess who always reveals her noble aura, can be in the village with Gu Huiyan. Firecrackers are set off. In the next few days, Pei Jingshu stayed at Gu Huiyan's house. They had agreed in advance that Pei Jingshu and Gu Huiyan would go home to celebrate the new year this year, and Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu would go home from the end of the year to the 15th day of the first lunar month to celebrate the 15th day, so that neither party would lose. For Pei Jingshu's parents, it is actually not the first time that their daughter has not come back to celebrate the new year. She has been busy with work these years. Basically, she has performances on the 30th of the new year and the 15th of the first lunar month every year, and she is used to it. In the next few days, Pei Jingshu went to visit relatives with Gu Huiyan. His relatives were quite enthusiastic and always polite. It was because of their status as stars that they easily attracted onlookers. When I went to Grandma's house, almost everyone in the village came. As a result, Gu Huiyan didn't take Pei Jingshu with him anymore, and asked his mother to take Gu Zuan. They went out to play. It was like watching monkeys in the zoo, and he couldn't stand it. Of course, this is not the main reason. The main reason is that sometimes some relatives know that you are a singer and ask if you can sing one. Gu Huiyan was disgusted by this thing when he came back for the Chinese New Year a few years ago. It was so terrible. Pei Jingshu said he was willful and said it was not good, so Gu Huiyan said, "Just do whatever you want. It doesn't matter what others think. I don't want to wrong you anyway." Pei Jingshu blushed when she said this. She couldn't understand how Gu Huiyan said such shameful words casually. She was always shy to say it anyway. Speaking of which, there were rallies in and around the city during the New Year days. Gu Huiyan took Pei Jingshu to visit many places because the winter was very tight. Apart from going to a few popular attractions, he was recognized by others. No one really recognized him. In the 4th year of junior high school, they went to a reunion of Gu Huiyan's high school classmates. In the past, the gathering was not crowded, but this time it was really full, even the PE teacher saw it. That's an exaggeration. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 378. The physical education teacher came back, and the crux of the problem was that he brought his daughter with him. His daughter is a die-hard fan of Pei Jingshu, saying that she has been chasing her since she debuted. Of course, the die-hard fans are not only the physical education teacher's daughter, but also which classmate in the class is not a fan of Pei Jingshu? Compared with Gu Huiyan, an acquaintance who takes the down-to-earth route, Pei Jingshu is the real big star in their eyes, okay. After the class reunion, in the 6th grade of junior high school, Gu Huiyan and other young students also gathered together. They did not ask for photos and autographs as exaggeratedly as the classmates and teachers at the class reunion. It was not because they had seen the world, mainly because the main reason is that people like Wang Lu have already passed it before, so it wouldn't be good if it happened every day, right? The party was at noon. After dinner, they went to a nearby ski resort to play. It is worth mentioning that Gu Huiyan drank a lot with the boys at noon. He was so drunk that he insisted on skiing and fell. It's not light. If it weren't for the armor, I would have fallen into the hospital. Pei Jingshu commented on Gu Huiyan. You really want to save face and suffer. Gu Huiyan shrugged, smiled, and said nothing. One detail when skiing is that Gu Huiyan is not very good at skiing, and he always falls when he is dizzy after drinking alcohol at noon, but Pei Jingshu is obviously good at skiing, she can skate very well, and can even do somersaults. But when Gu Huiyan fell, she also fall gently next to Gu Huiyan several times. Just the envy of a bunch of old people who look down upon them. For a big star like Pei Jingshu, she falls while skiing with Gu Huiyan. Do you think she can't be enviable? In a blink of an eye, the time came to the 8th day of the Lunar New Year. In the afternoon, Gu Huiyan went to a young man named Zhou Yuefan to help decorate the new house, because this buddy was getting married on the 9th day of the Lunar New Year. During the National Day, Su Chao got married. Due to some public opinions on the internet, Gu Huiyan didn't take it as the best man and foolishly followed him to take pictures. The voice of I feel sorry for him even made it to the hot search. Now that everything has passed, having a celebrity friend as a best man is definitely something that ordinary people are eager to do, so Gu Huiyan, the best man, can't run away. Pei Jingshu didn't follow Gu Huiyan that afternoon. By the 9th day of the Lunar New Year, she had basically visited relatives. She accompanied Gu's mother to the temple fair and lantern festival. After staying at home for 10 days, Gu's mother became more and more satisfied with Pei Jingshu. If there was any good thing, she would be the first to let her taste it. Pei Jingshu is also very sensible. Even when she comes back from playing with Gu Huiyan, she will bring gifts to Gu's mother. Even if they are worthless souvenirs, Gu's mother always likes them and is quite easily satisfied. Now they get along like mother and daughter, and Gu Huiyan and Guzun have completely become outsiders. It is worth mentioning that although Gu's mother often scolded Gu Huiyan and refused to let him sleep in the same room with Pei Jingshu, Gu Huiyan would walk to Pei Jingshu's room almost every night while she was asleep. Then she couldn't guard the door for Pei Jingshu at night, right? For this reason, I really had to train Gu Huiyan a lot. This middle-aged woman who is over 50 years old is also interesting. Let's train her. She only trains Gu Huiyan and never Pei Jingshu. But the most critical part of the problem is that Pei Jingshu leaves the door open for Gu Huiyan every night. This family acts like they are acting all day long, which is quite fun. Hey, happy wedding. On the day of Zhou Yuefan's wedding, Gu Huiyan got up before dawn and ran there. Because he is going to be the best man, he has a groomsman suit. As a celebrity artist, Gu Huiyan maintains a very good figure and posture. With his popularity, his condition is far better than the average friends of his age, so even if wearing the groomsman's suit, he looked quite dazzling. It is worth mentioning that the groomsman's clothes are Chinese style. Not to mention, Gu Huiyan looks really good when he puts on the Chinese red and black coat like groomsman's clothes. Speaking of which, it was lucky that it was Chinese style. If it were Western style, Gu Huiyan would look a bit ordinary. After all, as a male star, Gu Huiyan usually attends various occasions and wears a lot of high-end suits just by renting them. Ah! Gu Huiyan. So handsome today. When he set out to pick up his bride that day, when he arrived at the community where the bride's home was located, Gu Huiyan was almost surrounded by a group of passers-by and fans waiting here. Speaking of which, news about Gu Huiyan returning home for the Chinese New Year is no longer uncommon. Recently, he has been frequently searched for anything. He took Pei Jingshu to a temple fair and was spotted by someone, was photographed while skiing, and photos of class reunions were leaked. It's weird that it's not on the hot search list. So the small county town where Gu Huiyan's family is located has been very lively recently. Not to mention the local people, many young people from nearby urban areas come here to ask for chance encounters after visiting relatives during the new year. I don't know where the news that Gu Huiyan came to be the best man was leaked today. Just like last time, he was much older. Thanks. Fortunately, this was not the first time Gu Huiyan faced such a situation. He followed a few friends who were also best men and greeted him all the way in. Fortunately, the friends here were not too clingy and did not delay their business. The wedding venue was set at a fairly high-end hotel nearby. When they met Pei Jingshu at the hotel, Pei Jingshu told Gu Huiyan that he was on the hot search. Ah! Gu Huiyan was stunned for a moment, thinking to himself, is there really nothing to do with this kind of domestic entertainment all day long? Now being a best man can be a hot search, right? Indeed, Gu Huiyan has been on the hot search, and the popularity is not low. Many of them are videos taken by passers-by at the scene, and there are also scenes of Gu Huiyan playing some games with the bride when she picks him up. In the internet age, everything spreads quickly, and celebrities and entertainers are easy to attract attention. Gu Huiyan is still a hot search physique, so it is strange that he is not noticed. Many people are discussing in the comment area. It turns out that celebrities can also be groomsmen. Haha, I didn't get it during the National Day. It's great to get it this time. He has a really good relationship with his group, and he even participated in it during the National Day. Haha, people with his personality are generally very popular and popular. Yes, really. The bridesmaid blocked the door and my brother climbed in. Ha 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 ha, it's really worthy of him. It is worth mentioning that when the bride was picked up, a bridesmaid blocked the door. They blocked the door for a long time and refused to let anyone in. Knowing that Gu Huiyan was outside, she asked Gu Huiyan to sing a song before she opened the door. This is not an excessive request. It's a happy wedding, so singing a song is nothing. But the problem is that Gu Huiyan sang a few lines casually and the bridesmaid became addicted to it and wanted Gu Huiyan to sing. The corner of Gu Huiyan's mouth twitched. He saw that there was a window next to him, but it was a bit high. He simply opened the window and climbed in. It's hard to imagine that a popular artist, well-known singer, and music king would be so open-minded at a friend's wedding. He would lift up the best man's coat and call the two kids next to him to come over, then climb out of the window and climb in. The bridesmaids must have been chirping inside at that time, but they also did not forget to record the video, fully recording how Gu Huiyan, the violent gangster, climbed in through the window, how he moved nimbly to avoid them, and how he quickly unlocked the door and let the groom in. Come down. Because of this matter was mentioned in several hot searches, making a group of fans laugh like crazy. While laughing, someone was also saying, as expected of this show-stopping boss. Sigh, I feel like I have become resistant to his embarrassment now and am used to it. Haha, the main reason is that I was embarrassed at the Spring Festival Gala. No matter how embarrassing I am now, it won't be more embarrassing than the Spring Festival Gala, right? Nothing wrong. Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the reward points are at 91x10. At that time, Gu Huiyan still had system points in his account. There were voices of teasing and laughter, and there were also many voices of relief. Many fans still remember the sad scene of Gu Huiyan not being the best man during the National Day last time and secretly taking photos while wearing a mask and hat. Now he can finally be the best man for his friends and make a scene in a festive way. It may be embarrassing, but it's pretty fun to watch. Finally, everything is getting better. Seeing Gu Huiyan so happy, the fans were quite happy for him. Logically speaking, Pei Jingshu should be the most happy for him, but Pei Jingshu, who accompanied Gu Huiyan to attend the wedding that day, couldn't be happy at all. Even a little sour. Why? Because she saw from the video that Gu Huiyan was taken advantage of by the bridesmaids when he entered the bride's room through the window. It's quite normal. Gu Huiyan is a big star after all, not to mention he is handsome and has a good figure. When he wears the best man's suit, he seems to be quite upright. The bridesmaid is also a human being, so there is no one who is not greedy. Women covet handsome men, just like men covet beautiful women, for the same reason. There was nothing she could do about being forced to take advantage of her. Pei Jingshu was a little unhappy but understood, but the problem came in the later part of the game. Gu Huiyan hugged a bridesmaid and squatted. She didn't show it, but Gu Huiyan saw it and asked funnily. Are you jealous? Who? I'm not, why are you jealous? Pei Jingshu frowned and turned away, not looking at Gu Huiyan at all. From a distance, Gu Huiyan could smell the smell of jealousy. But to be honest, Gu Huiyan didn't take it to heart at all. First of all, it was normal to participate in a friend's wedding as a best man, and it was a bit of a playful game. They were not big in size, and there was no wedding drama. Secondly, Gu Huiyan also paid attention to the scale at that time. Even if he was forced to hug the bridesmaid, he must be a gentleman, and the bridesmaid was not too excessive. Everyone knew that he had a girlfriend, and she was Pei Jingshu, who ranked among the top 3 in domestic entertainment in terms of fan-fighting power. Who? You have nothing to do and want to be scolded to death? The wedding was about to start. Gu Huiyan briefly coaxed Pei Jingshu, called several friends' wives and girlfriends to accompany her, and then went to help. Pei Jingshu must have a taste for it in her heart, but she will definitely not show it in front of Gu Huiyan's friends. At 11 o'clock, the wedding was held as scheduled. The guests gathered in the wedding hall. After the groom welcomed the bride, the best man and bridesmaid followed. During the entertainment session, Gu Huiyan sang a song, which was a new work released at his end-of-year concert called If You Can. As for this song, it is considered a relatively unpopular one in Gu Huiyan's second solo album. Don't get me wrong, it's not because the song is not good, but purely because the works from the same period in this album are too evil. Suddenly I miss you so much, so what if you lose and win the world, secret code, don't think of me. Tell me, compared with these, which aspect can it win? Oh yes, I forgot to mention the second album. After the concert, Gu Huiyan combined some of his recent works with 5 songs from the concert into a brand new solo album. They are Don't Listen to Slow Songs for Sad People, Listen to Mom, Unconditional, Possessed, You Will Marry Me Today, Heart Wall, Listen to Me, Stranded, Are You Still Afraid of Heavy Rain, Secret Code, If I Can, I Suddenly Miss You So Much, Tenderness, What If You Lose and Win the World, Don't Think of Me, Rainy Night. These 16 songs. There is actually one more song in the Systems Exchange Records, called Shan Shan, but this song has not been released by Gu Huiyan to the public, so it is not included. It is estimated that there will be no chance to send it out in the future, and Gu Huiyan doesn't really want to send it out, just treat it as a memory that stays in his heart. It's funny to say that when putting this album together, because many of the songs in the album were of such high quality, Gu Huiyan had a headache when choosing the title song. No need to think about the first album, Sunny Day must be the title song. No matter how good other works are, they can't beat Sunny Day. But this second one. There are Tenderness, Secret Code, Suddenly Miss You So Much, and even Listen to Mom. Each one is a popular hit song, and they are all high-quality works. It's hard to choose them all. As the title song? Moreover, the songs Code and Tenderness have special meaning to Gu Huiyan. It was really difficult for Gu Huiyan, a Libra, to choose the difficult song. In the end, Gu Huiyan chose Listen to Mom as the title song. This album was later called a God album, with its first masterpiece and first hit. Ahem, that's too far off topic. Let's get back to the wedding. The reason why Gu Huiyan chose the song If I Can is that, on the one hand, this song is not a big hit compared to other works. Singing a hit song at someone's wedding would easily overwhelm the guest spot. On the other hand, It is also because the lyrics, connotation, and longing-filled feeling of the song are very romantic, so it is very suitable to be sung at a wedding. The wedding was not filled with young friends, but mostly with the bride and groom's family members, elders, and so on. They sang a song like "Suddenly Miss You So Much." Their emotions were ups and downs, and it was easy to get a little embarrassed. The song "If I Can" would look quite cool. Gu Huiyan is quite detail-oriented. Despite this, because of Gu Huiyan's celebrity status and because Pei Jingshu accompanied him to attend his friend's wedding, when he sang those few lyrics. If I could go to where you are. Can all wishes be so small as cannot see? At those times, people around me can't help but look at Pei Jingshu, because what this song contains is their unique romance of Pei takes care of CP. When Gu Huiyan sang this song at the concert, Pei Jingshu was not there. At that time, she didn't even know that Gu Huiyan was planning to get back together with her at the concert. When I listened to the song later, it was already after getting back together in the hospital. Although the other songs such as "Suddenly Miss You So Much" are also good to listen to be honest, Pei Jingshu still likes the song because she feels that the lyrics of the song are very sincere, without so many ups and downs, and will not be emotionally invested. Being too full will give people a feeling of longing for the future. Now, Gu Huiyan is singing live. Looking at Gu Huiyan on the stage, the corners of Pei Jingshu's mouth can't help but raise. Maybe it was to avoid suspicion. When Gu Huiyan sang, he looked at the bride and groom, as if he was giving them instructions, but he didn't look at Pei Jingshu. This is quite a detail. Oh! Pa bang bang! After Gu Huiyan finished singing, the audience burst into applause. On the one hand, they were cheering, but on the other hand, they were really amazed by Gu Huiyan. As the king of the music industry, Gu Huiyan has solid singing skills and top-notch timbre. Even in this venue where the equipment is not considered professional, there is not even a buzz in the ears. He will definitely crush countless wedding singers with full open mic. This is incomparable. He is very good. Major. Pei Jingshu also applauded her boyfriend. It is worth mentioning that today she was dressed very simply, just a white skirt and a down jacket. She was sitting in a dark corner, so she was afraid of overshadowing her. Despite this, her unique temperament and the brilliance of a star are always eye-catching. In addition to those who know her and often take pictures with their mobile phones, even some elders who don't know her are a little surprised when they see her. The funny thing is, at that time, an aunt came up and asked Pei Jingshu what she did, her age, family background and so on. Pei Jingshu was confused by the question. It was not until the aunt took out a photo of her son that she understood. This good guy is being watched by his elders. At that time, she explained the past casually, saying that she had a boyfriend, and the people around her were happy about it. She also said that he was a big star, and her boyfriend was also a big star, which made the aunt quite interested in reciprocating. This thing in itself was fun, but later Gu Huiyan heard about it when the bride and groom were bowing down during the ceremony and took the opportunity to rest. Then this old man went to the aunt and told her, "I am her boyfriend." Pei Jingshu felt a little helpless, a little blushing and shy, and a little secretly happy in her heart. Sometimes, Gu Huiyan is indeed not very polite and does not respect the elder aunt, but he is really unreasonable at all when he treats her well. It's funny, Pei Jingshu was jealous before, but now it's Gu Huiyan who is jealous. Moreover, Gu Huiyan is very easy to really fragrant, and he said that he doesn't want to overwhelm the guest, but during the bouquet part, after the bride threw the bouquet, the eldest brother jumped up and picked it directly, becoming the most beautiful person in the audience. The boy came to Pei Jingshu in the corner and handed the bouquet to her. Oh! There was a lot of howling at the scene, and there were quite a few people booing. Pei Jingshu blushed so much that she barely dared to look at the people around her when she covered her red lips with her beautiful hands. For a moment, she thought Gu Huiyan was going to propose to her. I have never seen her so shy or nervous before during the Spring Festival Gala. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 379. Chapter 373. Then, should we have daughters in the future? After attending the wedding, on the 11th day of the first lunar month, Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu packed their things and prepared to embark on the journey to Suzhou and go home with Pei Jingshu to meet their parents. Bring this with you. This is sausage. Did you eat the one I sent you last time? And this. Before leaving, Gu Ma packed a lot of things, including useful food and mostly local specialties. Most of them are for Gu Huiyan. The mother-in-law said she disliked them, and she had to take them in large and small bags no matter what before leaving. This was also the case during the Chinese New Year in previous years. Of course, some of them are for Pei Jingshu's parents. Their daughters are here to celebrate the New Year. Why can't they bring some gifts back before leaving? As for etiquette, Shandong people pay more attention to this aspect. Pei Jingshu's family is probably considered a wealthy family, and Gu Huiyan's family can afford expensive gifts. But if you bring them some expensive gifts, they won't necessarily lack them. It's also a bit vulgar. If it's too expensive, they might still want it. What about the return gift? On the contrary, it brings some specialties and the like, which makes it look a bit unique and sincere. It's just that the quantity is a bit too much. Okay mom, how much is this? I really can't take it. Gu Huiyan had a headache just looking at it. During the assistant's vacation, the two of them had a lot of things, so it was hard to get them. It would be really hard for Gu's mother to give them big and small bags. Well, if you can't send it by express delivery. Gu Ma thought about it and simply sent it by express delivery, even though the express delivery fee was not cheap. My mother, who usually lives a careful and prudent life, was suddenly willing to spend money to send express delivery. Gu Huiyan thought she was overthinking it, and thought it was because her mother felt sorry for her that the things she was carrying were too heavy, and she was lamenting. Who knew my mother would say something backhand? I'm afraid of tiring Jingshu. Gu Huiyan. Well, they are really married. Pei Jingshu snickered from the side. The 10 days she spent at Gu Huiyan's house were really happy and relaxing. She also got along well with her aunt, which made her full of expectations for the future. Auntie, let's go. They were sent out with large and small bags. Gu Ma even wrapped a scarf around Pei Jingshu and unzipped her down jacket. On the other hand, Gu Huiyan, his own son, was not even looked at. Later, when we talked about this in the car, Pei Jingshu felt strange. She felt that her aunt was a little too kind to her. Isn't it bad to be nice to you? Gu Huiyan said a little sourly. The sour taste made Pei Jingshu laugh. During her relationship, Pei Jingshu laughed easily and seemed a little sweet. She said, "Aren't you happy that Auntie is nice to me? Are you still a child? Do you still want to compete for favor?" Gu Huiyan didn't have anything to say for a while. MD was not a child anymore, so why should he fight for this favor? Pei Jingshu is always very good at comforting people. You see, she quietly held Gu Huiyan's hand at this moment. Her hand was as cold as a sedative, which immediately took away the sour smell from Gu Huiyan's body. Blown away. Gu Huiyan naturally leaned on Pei Jingshu's bony shoulders. Wearing a thick coat in winter would not make her shoulders ache, so it felt okay to lean on her. Talking about the fact that Gu's mother is good to Pei Jingshu, from a rational point of view, it is actually easy for Gu Huiyan to explain. He told Pei Jingshu that his mother had wanted a daughter before. When walking on the street, she saw cute little girls dressed up in other people's clothes and was very surprised. When she was pregnant with Gu Zun, both mother and son were looking forward to having a little girl. Now they are both looking forward to it. What a rare little girl. At that time, they even thought about the girl's name. The mother and son even talked about being nice to their sister in the future, buying her a beautiful little dress, raising her to be very elegant, and so on. Who would have thought that God would not fulfill one's wishes? I kept thinking about it every day, but in the end, Guzun came. Maybe it's a pity, so Mother Gu always likes Pei Jingshu when she sees her. After all, Pei Jingshu looks like the best image of a daughter in the hearts of all parents. Beautiful, fair, and tender, with high emotional intelligence, polite and filial, she's perfect. So actually, that's not an illusion. My mother probably regards you as her daughter, Gu Huiyan said. That's it? After hearing this, Pei Jingshu felt a little emotional, and quietly turned to look at Gu Huiyan with a pair of watery eyes. After watching it for a while, she didn't know what she was thinking, but her pretty face gradually turned a little red. What are you looking at? Is there something on my face? Gu Huiyan asked strangely. No. Nothing. Only then did Pei Jingshu look away, blushing and turning her head away from Gu Huiyan. Just when Gu Huiyan was wondering, after a while, Pei Jingshu suddenly turned around again, then quietly came to Gu Huiyan's ear and asked in a low voice. Then, do you also like little girls? Yeah, of course. Gu Huiyan nodded subconsciously. Generally speaking, men are slaves to their daughters, especially those with Gu Huiyan's personality, who would love to rip out their hearts and souls for their daughters. However, before Gu Huiyan could ask Pei Jingshu why he asked that, Pei Jingshu leaned close to his ear again, opened her red lips lightly, and said with a blushing face. Then, let's have a daughter in the future. Then. After hearing this, Gu Huiyan was stunned. Don't get me wrong, I'm not frozen, but I feel like a bomb has been dropped in my heart. No, it's like a nuclear bomb. Such power, it directly caused Gu Huiyan to scratch his head and ears like a kitten. Gilug. Many pictures appeared in Gu Huiyan's mind, including things that should be thought of and things that should not be thought of, clean and unclean, all of them. And when he turned to look at Pei Jingshu, her delicate and pretty face, her cold white skin was covered with blush, her eyes were evasive, and her expression was full of shyness. Gu Huiyan swallowed, coughed slightly, and said. Can you say this kind of thing in the future when no one is around? Pei Jingshu turned her eyes strangely, as if she didn't understand what Gu Huiyan meant. Then Gu Huiyan came close to her ear and whispered. After that, let's get straight to the point. What Pei Jingshu said to Gu Huiyan just now was like a nuclear bomb. Now, what Gu Huiyan said to Pei Jingshu was also very powerful. Pei Jingshu's face was so red that it was ridiculous. As soon as Gu Huiyan said these words, okay, she was so embarrassed that she almost dug a crack in the ground and crawled in. Say, what are you talking about? She raised her hand and pushed Gu Huiyan a few times. Although she was almost used to Gu Huiyan's foul words, she always blushed subconsciously. Ha ha. Gu Huiyan laughed, quite enjoying the sweetness of this moment. After all, it's really not certain when the two of them will have children. First of all, they are not married yet. How can they want children before they are married? Secondly, as popular artists, they really don't plan to get married and have children so early. How many celebrities have you seen accomplish all the major events in their lives before they turn 30? They are usually busy at work, so they see each other every day during this time of rest. After the new year, they established a new company, so they may see each other a little more than before, but they will often live in separate places. While you are young, work more and accumulate some fame. You can also take the opportunity to fall in love for a few more years and enjoy the process of love. When the time is right, you can enter the marriage hall and give birth to a big fat boy, big fat girl, by the way. Of course, that is the most comfortable way. In fact, it may be because she knew that it might be a long time before they entered the marriage hall, so Pei Jingshu gave herself to Gu Huiyan in advance. Otherwise, if you really let him endure it for so many years, it would be too cruel to him. Get on the plane, leave Quancheng, and fly to Shanghai. Pei Jingshu's home is in Suzhou. There seems to be no civil airport there. Basically, she flies to a nearby city and then takes other means of transportation. There were no suitable flights from Gu Huiyan's house at several nearby airports. Pei Jingshu just wanted to go back to her apartment in Shanghai to pick up some clothes. The express delivery from Gu's mother wouldn't arrive until tomorrow, so they went back to Shanghai. Stay one day and take the bus home the next day. Ah, I'm so tired. When he arrived downstairs carrying his things, Gu Huiyan felt that every part of his body was about to be hollowed out. The most tiring part of a trip was never when traveling, but when taking transportation on the road. Let me help you. Pei Jingshu was very considerate and came over to help carry the luggage. Gu Huiyan said he was tired, but did not ask her to help. Gu Huiyan was a grown man, how could he let Pei Jingshu carry the heavy objects no matter how tired he was? Fortunately, the path from the basement to the upstairs is smooth, and the boxes are just pushed, so there is no need to move them, and it does not consume too much energy. Pei Jingshu hasn't come back since she went to Beijing to attend the Spring Festival Gala a month ago, but nothing has changed at home. Someone comes to clean it from time to time, and it's the same during the Chinese New Year. After entering the door, Pei Jingshu went to change clothes, while Gu Huiyan collapsed on the sofa, like a puddle of mud, unable to move. However, after only 10 minutes at most, this old man dishonestly went to the cloakroom where Pei Jingshu was looking for clothes. What? Pei Jingshu was sitting in front of the dressing mirror looking for something, and she was startled when Gu Huiyan suddenly picked her up. But there was no resistance, after all I was used to it. But who knew that Gu Huiyan said next? I want a daughter. Ah. Pei Jingshu was stunned for a moment, and then a blush quickly appeared on the delicate and pretty face in front of the dressing mirror. She suddenly remembered her chat with Gu Huiyan on the road. I understand this guy's hints better. However, before she could say anything, Gu Huiyan was already as greedy as a slime and even kissed her neck. Don't. Pei Jingshu couldn't stand being kissed on her neck, and she suddenly lost all strength. Gu Huiyan took advantage of the situation and a princess picked her up and walked to the bedroom. Don't. It's broad daylight. What are you doing? Pei Jingshu was struggling, but not with much strength, mainly because she felt a little sorry for Gu Huiyan. During the past few days at Gu Huiyan's house, her relatives came here a few days ago. It was inconvenient. As a good citizen, Gu Huiyan would definitely not run a red light. The relatives left in the next few days. Pei Jingshu thought that this guy wouldn't be able to bear it, but after all, he was at home and he still paid attention to the impact. This made Pei Jingshu look at him with admiration. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 days passed. During these days at home, she was either visiting relatives or attending parties. Pei Jingshu gradually forgot about this matter. The fear of being dominated by Gu Huiyan in the capital years ago was almost forgotten. Good guy, who would have thought that just after he left home and there were no outsiders, this guy couldn't hold himself back anymore. Pei Jingshu felt a little regretful when she was thrown on the bed. Why did she have to talk to Gu Huiyan on the road about having a daughter in the future? Isn't this just trying to set off Gu Huiyan? Don't you say you are tired? Even though she had been thrown on the bed, Pei Jingshu still held on to a bit of luck. On the way here, when Gu Huiyan moved her things home, she said she was very tired. How long did it take for her to fully rest? Did I say that? Gu Huiyan acted like a rogue at this moment, saying that he was not tired at all, and he could get up to 100,000 yuan every minute. But Pei Jingshu still wanted to argue, but well, her mouth was gagged and she was subdued immediately. Pei Jingshu doesn't like being like this during the day. It's not because she has old ideas. It's mainly because she's like this during the day. She doesn't have the energy to do anything else for a long time, which delays things a lot. Originally, she planned to go to the beauty salon in the afternoon, but ended up lying at home and sleeping all afternoon without wanting to move. I don't know how Gu Huiyan is so energetic. When he got home at noon, he said he was very tired, but in the evening he seemed to be rejuvenated. He was in a good mood and even sang to Pei Jingshu to stay up. Porridge. Gu Huiyan went out for a while in the evening, saying he was going to get a gift for Pei Jingshu's parents. It was mysterious. When Pei Jingshu asked what it was, he didn't tell her. The next morning, he got up quite early, washed, shaved, and looked for clothes. After changing several clothes, he was still not satisfied. He even asked Pei Jingshu to help him take a look. Pei Jingshu even laughed. Don't you usually care about these things? Who is Gu Huiyan? He is an artist known for his down-to-earth spirit. How did he get out of the circle in the first place? Are flip-flops good for big pants? The main theme is a casual approach to life. Such a ruthless person who always wears down jackets even when attending events in winter. During those days at home, if the coat hadn't been dirty, Pei Jingshu would never have seen him change into a down jacket. It's a good day today, why don't you get up early to choose clothes? What's the situation? Gu Huiyan silently held his forehead and expressed that meeting his uncle and aunt could be the same as usual. After all, they are Pei Jingshu's parents. The first impression is always very important. How can you deal with it casually? Besides, Pei Jingshu paid so much attention when she accompanied him home, how could he be so casual when he went home with Pei Jingshu? This attitude makes Pei Jingshu very satisfied. In fact, sometimes the internet always says that she is a love brain, but in fact Gu Huiyan is the same. Both of them are very sincere people to each other. Let me help you choose. Pei Jingshu helped Gu Huiyan choose some casual clothes that were not too formal and not too flashy. Even though it was his first time to go to her house, he didn't dress like a business person. Gu Huiyan even found a suit just now. Going home with her wasn't going to a banquet. How could it be so exaggerated? Compared to Gu Huiyan, Pei Jingshu looked much more casual when she went home. She put on light makeup, a simple white skirt, and a warm down jacket before going out. It just happened to be that when they were packing up, Pei Ya drove to pick them up. It's just that Pei Ya still doesn't have a good attitude towards Gu Huiyan. Don't ask why, just look at these hot searches made by Pei Jingshu and Gu Huiyan when they returned home. This boy who is special to my mother took Pei Jingshu to set off firecrackers and also took her to a banquet. How could this look like something that two celebrities would do? She was afraid that Pei Jingshu would be wronged. That time when the paparazzi caught him talking about Gu Huiyan coming out of the stairwell late at night to get into trouble with his family, Pei Ya was still calling her sister. Fortunately, Gu's mother was very good to Pei Jingshu, and Gu Huiyan also protected her well. He went to attend a friend's wedding 2 days ago and even grabbed a bouquet for her, otherwise Pei Ya would have called her sister back. In short, she has never been kind to Gu Huiyan. Pei Jingshu didn't know what she was thinking of, and comforted Gu Huiyan by saying that her parents definitely didn't have the same attitude as her sister. They were both very kind people, so don't worry. Pei Jingshu. When Pei Ya heard this, she felt like a knife had been stabbed in her heart, and she couldn't help complaining. You make your sister look bad when you say things like that, do you know that? Puff. Gu Huiyan almost laughed out loud. Pei Ya. Aiming. Ahem, I just think of happy things. Gu Huiyan looked up at the sky. At this moment, the corners of his mouth were harder to suppress than AK. The assistant was on vacation, and Pei Ya came to pick him up. However, it was Gu Huiyan who moved the things and drove the car. Pei Jingshu was very satisfied with Gu Huiyan. Although Pei Ya had always had a bad attitude towards him, he never said anything bad to say about Pei Ya. Of course, he was not qualified to say anything. After all, Pei Ya was still the internal coordinator during the concert. It was time to have lunch when we arrived at Pei Jingshu's house. Pei Jingshu's family lived in a local villa area that was a bit far away. It was not close to the city, but the scenery was quite unique and suitable for enjoying life. When he entered, Pei Jingshu's mother came out to greet her. Gu Huiyan used to always wonder why his daughter Pei Jingshu was so good looking. After seeing her aunt's appearance and temperament, she became somewhat enlightened. Pei Jingshu's mother's facial features are very similar to hers, and she also has a particularly gentle Jiangnan woman's temperament. Time has not left any traces on her face, but it looks more graceful due to precipitation. She speaks softly and always has a slight smile on her lips. She looks very young and does not look like a woman of her age. People who don't know who are standing next to Pei Jingshu think they are sisters. But when he talks and acts, he looks like an elder. "Hello, Aunt." When Gu Huiyan came in a little awkwardly carrying her bags, Mother Pei, who was wearing a grey shawl, smiled and asked her daughter, "Aren't you going to introduce me?" Pei Jingshu was easily shy. After introducing Gu Huiyan with a blushing face, Pei's mother greeted Gu Huiyan to come in with little Gu. "Call the nanny to come and change Gu Huiyan's slippers for shoes, tell Gu Huiyan where to hang his clothes, and then ask Gu Huiyan if his mother is okay while taking Gu Huiyan in to see Pei Jingshu's father." Pei's mother has a very good attitude and speaks and acts calmly. If she could describe her feeling in one word, it would probably be, like a spring breeze. She looks like a helpful wife. In the past, Gu Huiyan only knew that Pei Jingshu was very polite and well educated. After coming to her house and meeting Pei's mother, she knew why. Just like the family, so are the children. It's just that Pei Jingshu's father somewhat subverted Gu Huiyan's understanding. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Xuan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 380. Maybe it was because Pei Jingshu and Pei's mother were both quite quiet people. Gu Huiyan thought that Pei Jingshu's father also liked quietness and was a very calm person. But the fact is exactly the opposite. Pei Jingshu's father is not a quiet person, but is very talkative. Although his voice is not loud, he talks a lot when he sees Gu Huiyan. He is very enthusiastic. After a few words, he drags Gu Huiyan away. "Go to the tea room to make tea." During this period, he even expressed his fondness for the songs Gu Huiyan sang on the Spring Festival Gala many times, especially the song Because of Love, which was often played at home recently. He also said that if he was young, he would probably be envious of Gu Huiyan now. He is a star and an idol, and he always lives up to be the person that many people yearn for. It seems that Father Pei also had a musical dream when he was young. They played rock and roll and heavy metal at that time. He also asked Gu Huiyan if he could write similar types of works, which made Gu Huiyan feel a little embarrassed and flattered. He could only answer that he had not tried. "But you can try it. Can you act like an elder?" Pei's mother couldn't stand it anymore. Standing aside, she had a slender figure, a well-proportioned figure, and a very elegant temperament. But when she faced Pei's father, she was like Pei Jingshu when she faced the embarrassing Gu Huiyan. "Black lines appear on my forehead. It's the first time your daughter brings her boyfriend home. As a father, you should behave like an elder." "Ahem, okay, I'll pay attention." Father Pei calmed down a little and asked Gu Huiyan whether he drank tea, what hobbies he had, whether he played ball, what kind of ball he played. Pei's mother. She silently held her forehead, showing a somewhat helpless expression. After telling Gu Huiyan not to be offended, she went to see how the tea was brewing. Cough. Gu Huiyan almost laughed uncontrollably because he felt that the way Pei's father and mother interacted on a daily basis was very similar to the way he and Pei Jingshu got along. Pei Jingshu happened to be looking at him at that moment, and the two people looked at each other in mid-air, and they almost laughed. Father Pei is a businessman, so he is naturally more talkative. It is said that he is the type who started from scratch. When he was young, he was poor and worked his way up from the bottom. Even though he is now considered a capitalist class, he always has a certain simplicity about him. For a while, Gu Huiyan really felt that Pei Jingshu had such a good tutor and had a closer relationship with his father. A person's tutoring will never only be reflected in the way he treats others and his courtesy, but also his outlook on life and emotional intelligence. Even though her family background is very good, even though she has been pampered like the apple of her eye since she was a child, Pei Jingshu has never disliked any ordinary person. She is also very happy when fans give her a few small hairpins sent by wallet and will wear them on the hair. They won't be like some celebrities who use things they despise on live broadcasts to sell to others. At least the words 699 can't buy a pair of socks will definitely not come out of her mouth. After a while, the tea was brewed, and Pei's mother brought it over, but Pei's father was a little disgusted. After a few sips, he couldn't help but pointed out that this was tea for entertaining guests, and all his good teas were upstairs, and then invite Gu Huiyan to follow him to the tea room upstairs. I know you regard Xiao Gu as one of your own, but when you say this, it sounds like we don't treat people with good things. Pei's mother smoothed her hair a little. Her hair was also as black and beautiful as Pei Jingshu's before she had her hair cut. So I said don't take it. I'll just take Xiao Gu upstairs to drink. Father Pei spread his hands and said naturally. Pei's mother glared at her and simply stopped talking. She turned aside silently and poured her daughter a glass. The mother and daughter drank it. Cough. Father Pei smiled awkwardly at Gu Huiyan as if he had done something wrong. Gu Huiyan understood instantly and said, "Uncle, I'll go upstairs and wait for you." Well. Father Pei nodded, a bit of satisfaction flashed in his eyes. When Gu Huiyan went upstairs, he glanced downstairs from the corner of his eye and found that Father Pei had come to coax Mother Pei, but he was a bit silly. He clasped his hands together as if praying to Buddha. Gu Huiyan also didn't expect that Pei Jingshu's family would be so interesting. It is worth mentioning that after arriving home, Pei Jingshu just watched the excitement. Even if her parents seemed to be quarreling, she had no intention of breaking up the fight. She even shook her head helplessly, and then went to the kitchen to help her aunt. When passing by the stairs, he waved to Gu Huiyan. It didn't take long to coax Pei's mother. When Pei's father came up, he said, "This woman can't do anything without education." It was as if he was just giving lessons to his wife downstairs. He knew how to show that he was the head of the family. Status. Gu Huiyan chuckled and said that I must have seen it. The whole family depends on you. You are very sweet. You made Father Pei so happy that he specially selected a pot of good tea that had been treasured for many years to brew for Gu Huiyan. It is worth mentioning that Father Pei's methods are also very professional. Among the people Gu Huiyan knows, the only one who can compete with Father Pei is the best actor Sunang. Of course, Gu Huiyan will definitely not do all those iced tea, toilet water, cup tea, etc. at this time. After all, he is meeting his girlfriend's father. You are so isn't it time to make a fool of yourself and seek death? Father Pei's bar is also more comfortable. Although the tea making technique is very professional and looks very high class, he said that he doesn't like these teas very much. It's a bit troublesome, but many business partners like to drink tea. This thing I have to learn, and this way can indeed brew the best tea aroma and tea soup. During the period, we also talked about how to brew Kung Fu tea. Because he had seen Su Yuntang brew it like that, Gu Huiyan was curious about the difference between that and brewing it in a teapot. Father Pei waved his hand and said there was no difference. It was just that it looked better when soaked in that way. He almost never soaked in that way. Don't ask why, it was just the porcelain cup. Hot. The water for making tea is very hot, and you have to pour it into the cup from a porcelain bowl without a handle, which won't burn you to death. Puff. Gu Huiyan was instantly happy at that time, and suddenly thought that if he had asked the actor Suo is it hot or not, his expression would have been even funnier. Father Pei is really a very interesting person. The heavy metal rock issue that I was embarrassed to finish talking about downstairs was continued upstairs. It seems that he actually played music for a period of time when he was young and is very interested in electric guitar. He knew a lot about the music and drums, and he got excited about chatting and even sang a few lines. Gu Huiyan clapped his hands and said, "No wonder Pei Jingshu is so good at singing, maybe she has inherited your fine tradition." Father Pei was very pleased after hearing this. He laughed and said humbly, "No, no. Rock and roll is immortal, but you say it won't die. Haha, it's almost like death now. Then half of the rock industry next door is gone, okay." They chatted upstairs for a long time until Pei Jingshu came upstairs and called them to eat. The lunch was quite sumptuous, right? The boss shared a table, which was a long table in their house. Pei's father sat in the middle, Pei Jingshu and Gu Huiyan sat on one side, and Pei Ya and her mother sat on the other side. Maybe he learned it from Pei Jingshu when he was at home. Before the meal, Gu Huiyan gave the gifts he brought to Pei's father and Pei's mother. The gift given to Pei's mother was a bottle of perfume. Some time ago, Gu Huiyan asked Jiang's mother what gift to give to Pei Jingshu's parents. It happened that Jiang's mother had just returned from abroad and brought back a bottle of perfume from a relatively niche brand in Europe. The scent of that perfume is very unique, and it seems that because of the small production, it is not very easy to buy. The price is not expensive, only a few thousand RMB equivalent, but the goods are good. Pei's mother was a little surprised after getting it. She seemed to know the brand, and said that she asked a friend to bring it to her several times but never got it. "Thank you very much. Here's Gu Huiyan." What was given to Father Pei was a basketball. Well, that's right, basketball. It's not very expensive. No matter how expensive a basketball is, how can it be so good? But there is a signature of a well-known foreign star on it. Wow! Father Pei's eyes gleamed after looking at it. Let me tell you. Pei Jingshu couldn't help but laugh, and couldn't help but admire Gu Huiyan's ability to choose gifts. Needless to say, the perfume given to Pei's mother was really well delivered. When Pei's father was young, he was an angry young man who loved music and basketball. It is said that he and Pei's mother got connected because of basketball. He used to admire some foreign stars. Even now, he often talks about Mamba when he has nothing to do. Spirit. For these fans, getting a basketball signed by a famous star is truly a dream come true. Gu Huiyan heard Pei Jingshu mention this basketball before. He said that his uncle liked to play basketball. He happened to meet Zhang Shuo when he was in Shanghai. PD Zhang had done a basketball program before, and he had some cooperation with some foreign countries. After dealing with well-known stars, Gu Huiyan wondered if he could get a basketball, jersey, etc. through his connections. "I thought there was no hope at first, but I didn't expect Zhang Shuo to call a few days ago to say that he had got the ball, and Gu Huiyan was quite grateful to him. This basketball was really brought to Pei's father's heart. That is to say, it is inconvenient at the dining table, otherwise Pei's father would have to show off his ball skills on the spot. Of course, it was also thanks to Pei's mother who was always watching and coughing from time to remind him, otherwise he really couldn't hold it back and would have dragged Gu Huiyan to play ball without even eating. So it's not my fault, right?" Pei Ya crossed her hands and looked at Gu Huiyan with a questioning tone. "Of course, how could I forget?" Gu Huiyan lightly took out a gift box and handed it to her sister. Inside was a set of relatively expensive skincare products. The price is quite high, but it is not as thoughtful as the one given to Pei's father and Pei's mother. It is the kind that can be bought if you have money. You think I'm irrelevant and not that important, right? Black lines appeared on Pei Ya's forehead, and she couldn't help but ask. How can it be? Gu Huiyan bluntly said that the gift I bought for my sister is the most expensive among them. Isn't it enough to show my feelings? You. The corner of Pei Ya's mouth twitched, but she couldn't refute, because it was true that her gift was more expensive than Pei's father and Pei's mother. Pook. Pei Jingshu couldn't help but laugh. Then she quietly turned Gu Huiyan's arm to save her sister some face. However, Gu Huiyan seemed very sincere, both in expression and eyes, as if he was really telling the truth. Pei's father and Pei's mother laughed and watched these young people making trouble. They neither stood up for Pei Yala nor said good things to Gu Huiyan. The whole family had learned how to eat delicious food. On the table, it was quite enjoyable. After delivering the gift, and using chopsticks, Father Pei went to touch the wine, and Mother Pei glared at him. She obviously didn't like him drinking, but after all, it was the first time for her daughter to bring her boyfriend home, so why not drink on such a festive day? Wine is not suitable either. She said nothing more. Seeing this scene, Father Pei looked relieved. He held a bottle of good wine and asked Gu Huiyan how he drank. I'm not very good, uncle. I basically get drunk after just one drink. Gu Huiyan was talking nonsense, as if he was farting. Ahem. At that time, Pei Jingshu next to me was drinking water, and she accidentally sprayed it out, causing her to choke and cough. Even so, she was looking at Gu Huiyan with a questioning and speechless expression, as if to say, "You lied to me, do you really don't need to draft?" If she hadn't known that Gu Huiyan had a good drinking capacity, drank frequently, and battled on the battlefield with his friends and children during the Chinese New Year, Pei Jingshu would have believed him. She even wanted to remind Gu Huiyan that he drank too much the night they first met. During the filming of Hello Life Match, Gu Huiyan even took her to have a dinner. Everyone on the internet knew that Gu Huiyan knew how to drink and had a very good drinking capacity. He. Father Pei chuckled and saw from his daughter's expression that Gu Huiyan was being modest, but since the modesty was for his own sake, he would naturally not expose it. He just held the wine glass and talked to Gu Huiyan. How can a man not drink? Let me tell you. Father Pei boasted some great truths, and then started to complain, saying that the yin energy in the family was too strong. They were all women, and he was the only male. He basically never drank wine at home. These 2 bottles of good wine were all it's almost gone, that's it? Gu Huiyan chuckled and changed the subject and said that this good wine becomes more and more fragrant the longer it is aged, so it is not a big problem if you keep it for 2 more years. After hearing this, Mother Pei glanced at Gu Huiyan twice, and couldn't help but nodded slightly. As for Father Pei, the topic was successfully changed, talking about various wine culture and so on. On the wine table, Gu Huiyan was being coaxed around by his Father Pei as he pushed cups to change cups. Shandong people, if you talk to them about tea culture, they might not understand much, but when it comes to wine culture, how many of them in the country can compare with you? The wine culture here is not only about the amount of alcohol, but also the various etiquette on the wine table. Of course, there is no need to list them all. In short, Father Pei was very satisfied with this meal. Moreover, men tend to talk too much when they drink too much. Father Pei did not become brothers with Gu Huiyan after drinking too much, but he felt that the distance between them was also shortened a lot. After dinner, Father Pei went upstairs to rest. In fact, he really wanted to go play ball now, but after all, at this age, he had to digest after drinking wine, and he was used to sleeping in the afternoon, so after saying a few words, he went upstairs to take a nap. Mother Pei didn't have the habit of taking a nap. She made an appointment with some friends for afternoon tea in the afternoon and asked Pei Jingshu to accompany her. It was not that she wanted to separate Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu, but mainly because her daughter was a big star and they all wanted to meet her. She In fact, if it weren't for the fact that it was a gathering of her friends with few men, she would have wanted to bring Gu Huiyan there. After all, the prospective son-in-law had a higher status than her daughter, and several of her friends were Gu Huiyan fans. Of course, she wanted to take her, but Father Pei didn't agree. Father Pei also wanted to take Gu Huiyan to play ball after nap. Call. Father Pei went upstairs to rest, and Mother Pei and her aunt cleared the table together. Gu Huiyan wanted to help, but he smelled a little bit uneasy after drinking, so he was told by Mother Pei to rest, so he simply went to the sofa to rest temporarily. Eat some fruit. Pei Jingshu washed some grapes and brought them over, and told Gu Huiyan about grape hangover. Gu Huiyan was happy when he heard this and said, "Then do you know what red wine is made from?" Pei Jingshu. She regretted not bringing over the fruit knife for cutting fruit, otherwise she would have stabbed Gu Huiyan now. Ha ha. Gu Huiyan smiled and said he didn't feel hangover. In fact, he was quite happy eating it. After all, it was washed by Pei Jingshu herself. One thing is that even though he drank, Gu Huiyan still looked very polite and sat on the side of the sofa honestly without spreading his legs wider. This made Pei Jingshu a little uncomfortable and couldn't help but ask, "What happened to you today?" If this were normal, she would be sitting next to her. Gu Huiyan would definitely put his arms around her shoulders or waist habitually. She was also used to this. This guy suddenly became serious. How could you not let Pei Jingshu? Strangeness. Nothing happened. Gu Huiyan sat upright, resting his hands on his knees. Pei Jingshu couldn't help but want to laugh, and said, "Usually when it's just the two of us, if you could be half as serious as you are now, I'd be very satisfied. Don't talk about normal times, just say you drank in the bar. There is never a time when Gu Huiyan drinks without taking advantage. I don't know if Pei Jingshu was very nice to him after he drank too much. Every time he drank too much, he would lick his hands. The key is that it doesn't matter if you say he really drank too much. When he was in his hometown a few days ago, he drank very little at several class reunions. With his drinking capacity, it would not be a problem for him to drink twice as much. But he just pretended to be very drunk and hugged Pei Jingshu, kissing and touching her. I drank more with Father Pei today than at those class reunions, but look at him now, not only does he have no knack, but he also looks like nothing is wrong. He occasionally glances in the direction of the kitchen and dining room, just like being ready to help Pei's mother at any time." In the past, Pei Jingshu had doubted whether Gu Huiyan was pretending to be drunk a few times, but now she no longer doubted it. Of course, today's Pei Jingshu is also very impressed with Gu Huiyan in terms of drinking. You see, he is sober now and looks like a fine person, right? He really didn't drink too much, right? But just now when Father Pei had a little overdose and wanted to go upstairs to rest, he also acted as if he couldn't take another sip no matter what and would faint immediately. Such a special emotional intelligence, people who don't know think that he has been taken away from him. This also made Pei Jingshu couldn't help but think depressedly, do you think she is usually too used to Gu Huiyan? He can actually do a good job, right? After just thinking about it, Pei Jingshu shook her head slightly. Well, never mind. Just get used to it. Although Gu Huiyan was not very good at ordinary times, he was at least relaxed. Pei Jingshu always hoped that Gu Huiyan could relax in her place, even if she was a little tired. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 381. In the afternoon, after taking a short rest, Pei's mother took Pei Jingshu out at around 2 o'clock. Before leaving, I specifically called out Pei's father. After all, Pei's father was battle-hardened. He said drinking too much at noon would not be the cause, but he was used to taking naps. He got up at noon and washed his face like a normal person. Changing into middle-aged sportswear, he ran to the warehouse to find his own basketball that had not been cleaned for a long time but was quite well preserved. He cleaned it briefly and called Gu Huiyan to go out. Before leaving, Gu Huiyan saw Pei Ya driving out. Gu Huiyan originally thought that Pei Ya was going to have afternoon tea with Pei Jingshu and her mother, but it didn't look like that was the case. "Sister, this is..." Gu Huiyan asked Pei's father curiously, because Pei Ya's expression when driving was not very good, as if she was in a normal mood all day. Strictly speaking, Gu Huiyan seemed to have never seen her in an unusual mood. In response, Father Pei said while dribbling. Her mother introduced her to a boy from a friend's family who just came back from abroad. He studies finance and is doing fund management. He is young and promising. She told her that she must go and meet him today. After hearing this, Gu Huiyan almost couldn't help laughing. "Good guy, this is a blind date. No wonder Pei Ya's expression is so ugly." But think about it, Pei Ya has indeed reached the age of blind date. She has been with her sister all these years, and her sister has brought her boyfriend home to meet her parents, so she should be anxious. After all, we are all a family. Pei Ya's appearance and temperament may not be as good as Pei Jingshu's, but she is far from being comparable to women from ordinary families. She just has a slightly worse personality and is too tough-tongued. On the way to the stadium, Father Pei also laughed and talked about the character of his eldest daughter, saying that his eldest daughter is more casual and has a true temperament. Because he was not very busy with his career during the years when his eldest daughter was born, he had time to spend with her. Before she was 3 or 5 years old, he basically took care of Pei Ya every day. In those 2 years, Pei's mother was pregnant with Pei Jingshu again. From those 2 years, he became busy. He had all kinds of entertainment all day long and had little time to take care of the family. Especially during the year when Pei's mother was pregnant with Pei Jingshu, sometimes he was really busy. "I just go out in the morning and stay all day long, and come back drunk late at night." Later, Pei's mother didn't want to see him anymore and simply moved to her parents' house to wait for the birth. That's why, when Pei's mother named Pei Jingshu, she angrily chose the homophony of compensate and lose completely, complaining that he was busy all day long, so he compensated you completely and lost completely. Ah! Gu Huiyan's eyes widened after hearing this, and then he almost couldn't hold back his laughter. Who would have thought that Pei Jingshu's name would have such an allusion? In fact, Pei Jingshu's name is very nice. The word Jing refers to a woman who is talented, or has a good figure, slender and graceful, and the word Shu goes without saying. Lady, virtuous and virtuous are all like this mean. When you listen to her name, don't think about the homophony, you will just find it pleasant and pleasant to the ear. The parents who named it must be very cultivated. But who would have thought? This is how she got her name. Gu Huiyan had seen people making fun of Pei Jingshu's name on the internet before, but he never thought that those netizens actually got it right. Well. Father Pei sighed silently, hugged the basketball and played it as if to relieve his anger, and said angrily. When I found out about this, Jingshu was already about 5 years old. If I had known about it earlier, maybe it would have been better to change things. Father Pei will definitely blame his wife when he mentions this matter. The allusion in his daughter's name was told to him by his wife at the birthday party when her daughter was 5 years old. By that time, he had already had a successful career and was completely stable. He was very proud of those 2 years and was very proud of his current achievements. However, he occasionally lamented that he did not care enough for his little daughter. Sometimes he felt that his little daughter and his mother were the same. He is carved out of a mold and is too polite and polite to himself, with a sense of distance. But when it comes to those busy years, he has no regrets. Being able to provide his family with generous living conditions is the most proud thing for a man. At that moment, Pei's mother glared at him and told him about her daughter's name. After hearing this, Pei's father was furious and had a big quarrel with Pei's mother. It is said that the quarrel lasted for 2 or 3 months. So what's the end? Gu Huiyan was a little curious about how it ended. You still need to ask? Your aunt must be asking me to admit my mistake. Father Pei coughed slightly, looking like an elder. The corner of Gu Huiyan's mouth was once again more difficult to suppress than AK. He said that I think the same is true. You look like the head of the family at home. Jingshu, follow her mother, she is too hot-tempered. After the laughter, he just walked to the court. Father Pei took off his coat and did warm-up exercises while casually talking. However, he is indeed a very gentle type. Indeed. Gu Huiyan nodded. He was deeply aware of the gentleness aspect, but how could he not be too strong-tempered? Bang, bang. During the leisure time in the afternoon, Gu Huiyan played basketball with Pei's father. The two men, who were not at the same age, seemed to have no sense of distance on the court. After they started exercising and their bodies warmed up, their condition became better and better. The conversation became more and more open. Occasionally, a neighbor who lived nearby passed by and saw Pei's father playing basketball with a young man, and asked curiously. Father Pei introduced him as his daughter's boyfriend. Ah! Do you have a little daughter? It is worth mentioning that at those times, the neighbors would look surprised after hearing this, and then quickly walk in to observe Gu Huiyan up close. Is it that big star? Don't leave, I'll call my daughter. She likes your daughter's boyfriend so much. Father Pei. Aiming. Those words always sounded wrong to him. Why do you mean your daughter likes my daughter's boyfriend? To be honest, if Gu Huiyan wasn't a big star, he would really have misunderstood. Likewise, he had to admit that he had indeed underestimated the popularity of Gu Huiyan, a big star. It was just two people playing ball. I don't know how the news leaked out. After a while, several people came. Although they were all acquaintances of neighbors and friends, even though they lived here, they were not new to the world. Not to the point of screaming, but who knew it was Gu Huiyan. He is the superstar who overturned the entire Chinese music scene with his 2 albums. He was so down-to-earth, and embarrassing, on the Spring Festival Gala that he became popular and became a household name, Gu Huiyan. There are people from all walks of life who chase stars. If you don't chase them, the children of the next generation will chase them. Celebrities represent trends. They are well-known figures and are more popular than internet celebrity check-in points anywhere. Hello. Hello, Aunt. Gu Huiyan seemed quite polite, and he would greet everyone who greeted him. As for Father Pei, he didn't mind that these people interrupted his game with Gu Huiyan. Instead, he took advantage of it because Gu Huiyan was very popular. When he met several old friends, he laughed and helped introduce Gu Huiyan. This is your Uncle Su. This is Uncle John. Some time ago, they wanted you to endorse their products. This is Aunt Lu. The vegetables we had for lunch today were grown by her herself. Father Pei's presence in social situations actually impressed Gu Huiyan to some extent. Since meeting, Father Pei's impression on Gu Huiyan was not that of a calm elder, but more or less like a peer of the same age, with a young heart. But that's probably what it's like when you're at home, facing your own people. When facing outsiders, when greeting outsiders, when helping to introduce Gu Huiyan to the elders, he seemed very calm and able to take care of both parties. Gu Huiyan couldn't help but think that such a man is really nice. He has no airs at home and can take care of everyone when he is outside. It is indeed a role model. But there is one thing to say, Gu Huiyan did not embarrass Father Pei. For example, when introducing Aunt Lu and the vegetables for lunch today, Gu Huiyan would say, I said that the food was quite delicious, and the taste was amazing. It's not like growing in a greenhouse. When I mentioned that I wanted him to endorse Uncle Zhang's products, he said that you can contact my uncle, Pei Jingshu's father, and if my uncle sends it directly to me, there will be no endorsement fees. It brought a lot of glory to Father Pei's face. Father Pei's smile never stopped during the whole process. Uncle Zhang's products are not actually a particularly well-known brand. Maybe Gu Huiyan is not from the capitalist class, but as a star, he is really at the top of the pyramid. If he endorses, he is all very exaggerated and well-known. Brands, ordinary small brands will basically be screened out by the company, and they will not even take a look. It's not that he's a big name, it's mainly that at this stage, if you accept advertising endorsements from third and fourth tier artists to steal other people's jobs, it will easily cause public outrage. Uncle Zhang himself said that it was just a joke at the time. I can't afford your daughter's boyfriend. At this time, if Gu Huiyan directly said that he could help with the endorsement, it would be fart, and it would also appear that he is a bit frivolous. Instead, he brought this topic to Father Pei and said that he could send it to him for free. On the one hand, it showed that they were close to each other. On the other hand, it also directly showed that Father Pei had a lot of face and would not let it go. Uncle Zhang is embarrassed, which is perfect. As for Father Pei, he will definitely not help him with such a thing, but the light on his face must have been filled by Gu Huiyan. Do you think he can be dissatisfied? He dealt with it by saying, "We can't interfere in young people's careers." He was also a sensible person. Although there were many social occasions in the afternoon, Gu Huiyan was quite satisfied with Pei's father. As for the ball, there was no delay in playing. The people nearby were all friends. The community was quite private and no outsiders could come in. Not only did the friends not hinder them from playing, there were even a few middle-aged friends of Pei's father who watched him rise up. Also joined in. Originally there were only 2 people playing, but the number of people fighting increased. Although Gu Huiyan seemed a bit out of place among a group of Sunset Red Team, it is worth mentioning that his goal quotient is still very high. You hardly see him rushing for shots throughout the game. He basically grabs the ball and then runs and dribbles under the backboard, passing the ball to Pei's father, which created many highlight moments for Pei's father. He. Father Pei, who was already quite happy with the fight, never looked down during the whole process. The more he looked at Huiyan, the more satisfied he became. Of course, it's not that Gu Huiyan himself doesn't shoot. He occasionally exceeds his ability to show off, and it's not that he fails to take care of the other elders. Occasionally, he makes a dribbling error and is robbed of a ball by his elders. Well done. This young man. All the elders looked at it and nodded. If Pei Jingshu were here, she would really doubt whether Gu Huiyan was really taken away. It is worth mentioning that after playing, Father Pei showed off to his friends who were playing together the basketball signed by a foreign star that Gu Huiyan gave him. He took pictures at noon. He has it on his mobile phone and gave it to a few. My friends are so jealous. I really don't know how to go home without looking for you, right? A little later, probably in the evening, the sun was setting in the west, and it was almost completely dark. When the sunset light was orange-red, Pei's mother asked for it. First, he looked at Father Pei with a very kind look, and then gently waved his hand to Gu Huiyan and said, "Thank you for your hard work, Xiao Gu. Are you tired after playing with your uncle all afternoon? It's really tiring." Gu Huiyan nodded and said something like "I'm tired," which made Pei's mother frown slightly, but the next sentence made Pei's mother's brows relax, because the old man scratched his head and said, "Uncle's sword is still young, so it's really not easy to play with him." Mother Pei couldn't help but almost laughed. She secretly admired her and said that the boyfriend her daughter had found was not bad. In the past, I always paid attention to the comments on the internet that Gu Huiyan had low emotional intelligence and lacked quality. Although she believed in her daughter's vision, Pei's mother was still a little worried. But after spending a long time with Gu Huiyan, Pei's mother felt that the comments on the internet were really not worthy of belief. The Gu Huiyan she saw with her own eyes was definitely a person worth trusting. Look, I'll just say. It is worth mentioning that Father Pei is quite proud and talks about how he and Gu Huiyan matched each other. Pei's mother. AI. Looking at her childish husband, Pei's mother looked disgusted and said to herself, "Don't you have any idea whether Xiao Gu is taking care of your face? How old are you? Why do you still act like a child all day long?" When we got home, dinner was ready. It was almost the same as lunch, except that it was no longer Chinese, but some Western food such as steak. Maybe it was because he exercised all afternoon and consumed a lot of energy. Father Pei went upstairs to take a shower and change his clothes. "Would you like to take a shower too?" Pei Jingshu had already found a change of clothes for Gu Huiyan, and had all the bath towels and towels ready. She looked very virtuous. I also didn't forget to take a tissue to wipe the sweat on my forehead with my highly emotionally intelligent boyfriend who had been playing basketball with his father all afternoon. Mother Pei glanced at it from a distance and couldn't help but shake her head and smile. She happened to catch a glimpse of the eldest daughter on the other side from the corner of her eye, and a bit of helplessness appeared on her face. That's right, the eldest daughter who went out for a blind date in the afternoon obviously did not meet her expectations. She didn't know what the meeting between her eldest daughter and her blind date was going to be like in the afternoon, but when she came back, she asked the nanny Aunt Peiya what time she would be back. After learning that she left home after 2 o'clock and came back before 4 o'clock, she knew what was going on. Well, speaking of her eldest daughter, Pei's mother was a little helpless. She felt that Peiya was just like their father, which made her very worried. On the contrary, it was her youngest daughter Pei Jingshu and her boyfriend who made her feel quite relieved. She was a little resentful when she mentioned this matter. When Pei's father came out after washing up and chatted with him about Peiya's blind date in the afternoon, she complained a few words by the way and said it was your fault for bringing up the eldest daughter. Look at Jingshu. Don't worry. Father Pei was in a state of confusion as he took this big scapegoat from heaven. But I can't refute anything, because Pei Jingshu, who was raised by Pei's mother, is indeed much more worry-free than Pei Yat. When it comes to this matter, Pei's father is helpless. They are both biological. Pei's mother is good to her daughter and is always reluctant to say anything wrong about her daughter. Whenever her eldest daughter makes people worry, she comes to trouble her. You just have to get used to it, otherwise Father Pei will also collapse. At the dinner table, Father Pei was praising Gu Huiyan and told Pei Jingshu, "I will be the first one not to agree to anyone who says that little Gu has low emotional intelligence in the future." Gu Huiyan was so satisfied. Pei Jingshu looked at Gu Huiyan strangely several times, curious about what happened to the old and the young when she was away in the afternoon. Speaking of which, Gu Huiyan really subverted Pei Jingshu's understanding of him today. Before, this was a man who claimed to destroy everything with the aesthetics of violence. Once while eating a 5-wagyu beef with others, he went to a night market limited edition, used chopsticks, and plausibly said that one piece was not enough. Now when I eat steak at her house, she obediently uses a knife and fork, takes one bite and praises her, and after finishing it, she says she can't eat anymore. Pei Jingshu even wondered, was this still the Gu Huiyan she knew? He is so perfect. Not to mention Pei Jingshu, Pei Ya was having fun. She looked at Gu Huiyan and almost said, "Can you please stop pretending? Do you think I don't know who you are?" The eyes were eyes, but Pei Ya didn't reveal that the sister was tough-tongued. She always said that her younger sister was tough-tongued. In fact, she really wanted the two sisters to be cremated together. It was really not certain who was tough-tongued in the end. It is worth mentioning that Pei's father opened a bottle of red wine at the dinner table, and Pei's mother would drink a little, but she was not a greedy drinker. She would blush easily after drinking a little, and she was quite mature when she blushed. Of. Gu Huiyan is not very unfamiliar with red bars. Usually, drinking them on the spot is not done by the glass like liquor, but by the bottle like beer. But right now at Pei Jingshu's house, I'm just taking small bites, pretending to be like that. At that time, Pei Jingshu next to her couldn't help but think, so Gu Huiyan usually knows everything and understands everything, but he just doesn't want to do that, right? Know the world but not the world? Having said that, Pei Jingshu is quite happy that he can do this for his family. Thinking of this, she couldn't help but chuckle and shake her head. When going to the bathroom, she secretly sent a text message to Gu Huiyan on her mobile phone. The Dragon Slayer will eventually become the evil dragon. The Dragon Slayer who was wearing big pants and flip-flops and chewing melon seeds has now degenerated into an evil dragon because of love. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 382. Pei Jingshu has known Gu Huiyan for 2 years, but she has never seen Gu Huiyan as honest as he is today. As for where this honesty is embodied, it's not just everything during the day, but also at night. When staying at his house, this old man refused to have a room by himself. For a few days, Gu's mother was afraid that he would delay Pei Jingshu's rest, so she discussed with Guzun and asked Guzun to sleep on the sofa to free up the room for Gu Huiyan. But even so, Gu Huiyan could still touch Pei Jingshu's room at night. He is such a person who will not be honest even if he is beaten to death. However, when he arrived at Pei Jingshu's house, he was as honest as a student. He went to rest when the time came and refused to stay up late. He didn't say a word about whether Pei Jingshu should leave the door open for him. I went back to my room and lay down to sleep, as if this never happened. Pei Jingshu was so happy that when she asked Gu Huiyan if he had slept well the next morning, she specifically asked him why he didn't ask her to leave the door. Gu Huiyan stalled it like this, one by one. Why are you leaving the door open? What are you talking about? Why can't I understand? Pei Jingshu. Aim. It's hard to imagine that the childish guy who was angry that he would go out and stay in a hotel on the first day of the new year if he didn't leave the door open for him that night could say such a thing. What made Pei Jingshu even more dumbfounded was that Gu Huiyan got up very early this morning, exercised for a while, and even went to help Pei's mother make breakfast. That's called diligence. Pei Jingshu couldn't help but said. I really don't know you anymore. Gu Huiyan shrugged and said that it would be shameful for you not to be attentive to your girlfriend's parents when she came to her home for the first time. As for Pei Jingshu, although she is not used to Gu Huiyan like this, after all, this guy doesn't bother her anymore at night, and she can rest for a few days after a long time. Otherwise, it will be the same as that time a year ago, sleeping late every night and feeling listless the next day. Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu have been staying at Pei Jingshu's house these days. They have no work arrangements before the 15th day of the first lunar month. Basically, the assistant comes to pick them up after the 15th day, so they can spend time with the two elders recently. It is worth mentioning that Father Pei likes Gu Huiyan very much. Recently, he has time during the annual vacation. When he has nothing to do, he takes Gu Huiyan out for a walk, playing ball, or something. Father Pei is a man who loves sports. His physical fitness is very good, which is not what he should be at this age. He is basically proficient in badminton, table tennis, basketball, and football. The temperature was not that low on the afternoon of the 13th. He also took Gu Huiyan to a nearby swimming pool for a swim. Winter swimming. That is to say, Gu Huiyan also exercises regularly, and he can't sit still. He has a good physique, otherwise it is not certain whether he can keep up with Father Pei's rhythm. Sometimes Gu Huiyan couldn't help but sigh, thinking that now that his uncle was old, he must be one of the most handsome old men even in the park. In comparison, Pei's mother looks very elegant and luxurious. She reads books at home when she has nothing to do, occasionally goes out to meet friends for afternoon tea, and takes her daughter to shopping malls. In fact, Gu Huiyan also felt that Pei's father and Pei's mother looked like he and Pei Jingshu were from two different worlds, but they were very loving. Although Pei's mother often disliked her husband, their relationship seemed to be very good. Whenever Pei's mother is angry, Pei's father will bow his head and admit his mistake. He is also a responsible head of the family. Speaking of Pei's mother, I feel that my aunt is really like a lady who comes from a big family. Gu Huiyan was not very nervous when he met his uncle for the first time. When he first met his aunt, his hands were shaking so nervously that he almost made a fuss when he spoke. Of course, after a few days of getting to know each other, you will definitely stop talking. Gu Huiyan gets to know people easily. Although it was only for a few days, he got along quite well with his father and mother Pei. Of course, they don't stay at home every day. Occasionally, Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu will go to a party or something, such as Pei Jingshu's class reunion or friends party. Generally, class reunions and hair gatherings will not be postponed until the 15th day of the first lunar month, but whoever keeps the big star Pei Jingshu away from home knows that she will come back this year, because it is worth the delay for her. When he was in his hometown, Gu Huiyan took Pei Jingshu to a party. Pei Jingshu would definitely not abandon Gu Huiyan. Their relationship was already known to everyone. Even classmates and friends really wanted to meet Gu Huiyan, and they expressed a lot of good impressions of Gu Huiyan during the group chat. However, it turns out that Pei Jingshu still underestimated the love of Gu Huiyan among her classmates and friends. Wow! Is it really Gu Huiyan? Oh my god, he is more handsome in person than in the video. Wow, I always like your songs, I play them on repeat every day. Several female friends surrounded Gu Huiyan when he first arrived at the private room where he was eating. They were holding their mobile phones and taking pictures, asking for autographs and taking photos. They were chattering with excitement. Do you think your male friends won't be excited? No. They are more excited than their female friends. It's just that they can't push the girls away. Ah, ha. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks, thanks. Gu Huiyan was quite flattered by this, but it was not like he had never met fans offline, so he could get used to such a scene. One thing to mention is that Gu Huiyan took Pei Jingshu to attend classmates and small gatherings at home. The big star Pei Jingshu was always popular, but it was him, because they were familiar with each other, so his friends didn't seem to be too enthusiastic. This made Gu Huiyan sometimes wonder if he was also a big star. Then today, I attended the party with Pei Jingshu, which just highlighted this point. Gu Huiyan also experienced a star addiction. It seems that Gu Huiyan also has this addiction. He is a well-known star in his own right. It is worth mentioning that they welcomed Gu Huiyan so much, but instead ignored Pei Jingshu, making Pei Jingshu feel like an outsider. At this moment, Pei Jingshu felt what Gu Huiyan felt at that time. Gu Huiyan was also like the protagonist at the party. Several male friends kept staring at Gu Huiyan during the meal, which made Gu Huiyan jealous, but Gu Huiyan could feel that there was no other meaning in their eyes, it was pure admiration. You can tell who is the true fan here. There are often similar competitions below the comment area of Gu Huiyan's related videos. Gu Huiyan is a female fan. Fart, he's obviously a fan, that's my brother. Today we finally found out, men are still single-minded. Because of their enthusiasm, Gu Huiyan accompanied Pei Jingshu to the party without any embarrassment. He was just short of being celebrated. After having a few drinks, someone wanted to hear Gu Huiyan sing, so Gu Huiyan temporarily joined the class and sang Tenderness. There was a big chorus in the private room. During the meal, the brothers next door heard that Gu Huiyan was here and came over to say hello and propose a glass of wine. Then an interesting thing happened. When they went to check out after the meal, the friend who was in charge of the check came back and told them that the bill had been settled. It seemed that it was settled by the fan who came to toast just now. So the meal became Gu Huiyan's invitation for a long time, and Pei Jingshu's friends all benefited from it. This. Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu looked at each other and smiled, looking a little helpless. In fact, this is not the first time they have experienced something like this being paid for by others. After all, they are well-known celebrities, and they can easily be recognized when eating in crowded places. People in some places are just hospitable. For example, when you were in Gu Huiyan's hometown, they had others secretly foot the bill at least 5 or 6 times. There are many big brothers like this in Northeast and Shandong. They are the kind who can really pay for their favorite celebrities. The key point is that people do good deeds without leaving their name. You can't even find their phone number. As for thanking you, you can only mention it casually when posting tweets, Weibo updates, or editing copy. It was evening when they returned from the party. They didn't drive when they went there. Pei's mother took them there on the way when she went out. When she came back, she was taken back by a female friend. "It's a bit cold, be careful." Gu Huiyan drank again. Although Pei Jingshu was used to it, she still didn't like her boyfriend drinking. "It's okay, no problem." Gu Huiyan waved his hands carelessly. He drank red wine, so he actually didn't smell much. Hoo-hoo. The cold wind kept blowing. After the new year, the temperature in the Suzhou area has warmed up, but it will still be cold after the sun goes down. Because the local temperature is not too low, Pei Jingshu was wearing very thin clothes, and she couldn't help but shiver when the cold wind blew. Shivering. Gu Huiyan took off the scarf and tied it around Pei Jingshu's neck. Pei Jingshu naturally held Gu Huiyan's arm, and the two walked from the gate of the community to home. This section of the road was actually a bit far. The red wine had a strong stamina, and Gu Huiyan wanted to take a rest halfway through. So they sat on a seat near the artificial lake in the community. In winter, even here in Suzhou, not many people come out at night. There are no people in the community, except for the occasional security guard who passes by on patrol. Seeing that no one was around, Gu Huiyan lay down on Pei Jingshu's lap out of boredom. Even though he was wearing pants, it was quite comfortable to lie on his girlfriend's lap. Pei Jingshu chuckled, raised her slender white hands to pinch Gu Huiyan's face, and said, "Don't pretend." At home these days, Gu Hui has put on the appearance of a good son-in-law, let alone a scumbag. He rarely touches her. In the past, even if we were at his house, we would sneak into the room to sleep together at night, but these days we have been separated. In front of friends, he always maintains the image of big star Gu Huiyan and always pretends to be like that. There is no one around now, and this guy finally stopped pretending. What is pretending? Gu Huiyan closed his eyes and enjoyed the softness of Pei Jingshu's legs, and also lightly smelled the body fragrance on her body. Just lying down on his back felt unsatisfactory, so he simply turned over. He leaned his face towards Pei Jingshu's belly. "Don't itch." Under the pale street light, Pei Jingshu's delicate and pretty face suddenly turned red. Even though she was separated by clothes, she was surprised that this guy pressed against her belly and she didn't feel itchy. Gu Huiyan pretended not to understand anything and rubbed it a few more times. "Don't." "Oops. All right." Pei Jingshu wanted to stop her, but she didn't have the strength in her hands. When Gu Huiyan looked at her face, he found that she was blushing terribly. Gilug. Maybe it was alcohol. Gu Huiyan swallowed, then sat up and slowly moved closer to Pei Jingshu. When the mouth touches the mouth, there is only a touch but no sound. Pei Jingshu did not widen her eyes because she knew very well that Gu Huiyan would kiss her. Speaking of which, they had not kissed since they were sent home, and she was not used to it for a while. Gu Huiyan finally showed his cards and stopped pretending. Look at his hands. He just kept digging into Pei Jingshu's clothes. completely ignoring whether there would be air conditioning entering with his dirty hands. This late at night, right next to the artificial lake in this community, two A-list stars, kings and queens kissed passionately. Click, click, click. In the distance, on the mountain, the light of a camera flashed. Early the next morning, the two of them were on the hot search. Hashtag Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu secretly kissed under the streetlight when no one was around. Hashtag Gu Huiyan doesn't have a long memory. He was photographed every time he went out in anger on the first day of the new year. Not to mention that last night he and Pei Jingshu were seated by the lake in such an empty place without even a cover. Chair kissing. They are celebrities, and paparazzi may take photos of them at any time. How can they kiss just by saying they are kissing outside? What's funny is that the paparazzi's copy actually said this. I heard that Gu Huiyan was pretending to be a son-in-law at Pei Jingshu's house recently. He was playing ball and shopping with his uncle and aunt. He must have suppressed it now and stopped pretending to show off. After reading this copy, Gu Huiyan looked like this. I really bought a watch for you, beep 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 beep, dishes. It's really hard to curse people directly. Ah. So sweet. In comparison, the netizens in the comment area went crazy, and the following related hot searches were full of hot comments. As expected of my most hated companion, Pei takes care of CP. You two are serious about spreading sweets offline. Ah. It's a real couple and they're so cute. Gu Huiyan, have you always been this good? Netizens don't know whether he is pretending to be a son-in-law or not, but they will definitely not miss the sweet message of Pei Ban takes care of CP and they will always keep talking about it. The two of them are really sweet. Pei Jingshu went skiing with Gu Huiyan and fell with him, which made many netizens go crazy. This time, they were directly photographed kissing. There was even a discussion in the comment area that maybe little Gu Huiyan will come out in the future. A group of people online are having fun eating melon. But offline, Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu were not having a good time. Didn't that matter become a hot search, and the popularity was not low. Father Pei and Mother Pei also saw it, and the next day, which was the 15th day of the first lunar month, Father Pei and Mother Pei looked at their daughter and her boyfriend. Satisfied. Pei's mother always smiled, but Pei's father was more direct. Gu Huiyan helped serve the dishes during the meal. He hinted that it was normal for young people to be energetic. One word almost made Gu Huiyan's dish fall to the ground without holding it steady. Dad. Pei Jingshu blushed so much that she wished she could find a crack in the ground and crawl in. Father Pei is also a smart man, saying one by one. I said Xiao Gu is diligent, what's the problem? You. Pei Jingshu was really ashamed. As soon as she put down her chopsticks, she turned around and left without even eating breakfast. But Gu Huiyan, this old man is so thick-skinned, he really had the courage to finish the meal. But to be honest, it was a bit embarrassing. After all, the online paparazzi said that he was pretending to be a good son-in-law at Pei Jingshu's house. Okay. I won't let him block me. Gu Huiyan almost made him angry. It is worth mentioning that Pei Ya, the sister of Pei Jingshu's manager, did not say much. On the one hand, she is used to it, but on the other hand, she is also. Alas, she really didn't have the mind to care about Pei Jingshu recently. During the Chinese New Year period, her parents were urging her to go on blind dates every day. At first I saw one every few days, then one every day, and recently one every morning and every afternoon. Sometimes she is helpless, even if her parents have such good connections, sometimes it is not a good thing. Fortunately, after today, they will leave tomorrow on the 16th. Maybe it was time for her departure. Even though she was shy about being photographed in the hot search for kissing, Pei Jingshu still didn't get angry with her parents. In the evening, they all had a reunion dinner together and looked at the moon. Early the next morning, she was ready to leave early. Say hello to your mother for us. Before leaving, Pei's father and Pei's mother sent them to the car, and Pei's mother said this. Will do. Gu Huiyan nodded. Zhang Nuan and another assistant were taking his things. When his staff arrived, Gu Huiyan looked like a star. Ahem. At this time, Father Pei came up and coughed slightly. Gu Huiyan understood instantly and said. If we start a tour in a while, we will give tickets to my uncles and aunts. If you have time, you can go and play. A man is a teenager until he dies. Father Pei is a person who loves music and occasionally follows trends. He likes Gu Huiyan's music very much. Taking his wife to watch a concert with a young man seems to be a very romantic thing, so before I have expressed my desire to watch Gu Huiyan's concert. In the next year, Gu Huiyan will go on tour. This is no secret. Gu Huiyan doesn't understand his uncle's hint. Pei's father had an expression that said a child can be taught, nodded, and said to Pei Jingshu. Jingshu, when you have nothing to do, take Xiao Gu here to play. Good. Pei Jingshu glanced at her father helplessly, wondering why her father and Gu Huiyan seemed to have a lot in common. She had talked about this with her mother before, but her mother didn't comment on the two of them with a common language, but with "We smell like each other." Pei Jingshu wanted to laugh when she thought of this. But now I couldn't laugh very much, instead I was a little teary. Girls have stronger empathy. After all, before leaving, she is busy with work and does not stay home often. She may be gone for a year and a half, and sometimes she will not be able to come back for the new year. Of course she will be sad before leaving. She was feeling better before getting in the car. After getting in the car, after the car started and drove away, her tears flowed out uncontrollably. Pei Jingshu felt so broken when she cried, which always made people feel distressed. Gu Huiyan had no choice but to hug her and rub her head as if to comfort her. This year. It's finally over. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 383. After returning to Shanghai from Suzhou, Gu Huiyan only stayed with Pei Jingshu for a few days before returning to the capital to get busy with work. The contract expires in mid-March, and after the Chinese New Year, it is almost the end of February. During this period, some company-related work needs to be finished, but not much. After all, due to his breakup incident years ago, the work at hand was cancelled. A lot of them were killed, but not many new ones were picked up yet. For this reason, finishing the work is not too troublesome, and what I bring to the new company is actually not too much. However, it was a lot of work to find Gu Huiyan. The main reason is that Gu Huiyan has completely turned around now. His popularity is not less than it was back then, or even worse. He is definitely the top among the top in domestic entertainment. If you don't look for him, who can you look for? Of course, if you want to take it, you will probably have to wait until the contract expires, otherwise it will be difficult to be affiliated with the company. Until the middle of March, Gu Huiyan was quite busy. Not only him, but also Pei Jingshu. Due to her poor condition a year ago, she had to turn down or suppress a lot of work. After the new year, there are more than a dozen sets of photos to be taken for the new quarter advertising of the endorsed brand. It's okay to just take them in a studio. What's more terrible is that sometimes they have to go on location and travel to various places. Fortunately, Pei Jingshu's recent recovery is even better than before. She is radiant and her skin feels much brighter than before. Otherwise, she might not be able to withstand such a high-intensity work. Speaking of Pei Jingshu's current situation, many people on the internet are talking about it, saying, "Sister Pei is really nourished by love. Is it Gu Lulu's nourishment? Oh, pity my brother, he was squeezed dry." It's no wonder that everyone is talking about it this way. The main reason is that many netizens have recently seen Pei Jingsha shooting on location, and it was from the perspective of passers-by. As for celebrities, if you watch them on TV or mobile phones, you will naturally not see any strong contrast when comparing them with other celebrities. Comparing them with passers-by will immediately reveal their superiority and inferiority. Pei Jingshu is known as the beauty of domestic entertainment. She is stunning when standing with female stars. Standing with passers-by, her state is simply crazy, okay. That's not just the shock caused by her appearance, the main reason is that her mental state is very good, her eyes are bright and moving, and she has smiled a lot more recently. Except for her hair, which has not fully grown, the rest is compared to her previous peak state. It doesn't look bad at all. Suddenly in such a good state, they don't believe you if you say it has nothing to do with Gu Huiyan. Comparatively speaking, Gu Huiyan's condition has been average recently. It's not that he's not in good health. It's mainly because he's been recording shows for a few days. He's been recording until 3 or 4 in the morning, and he's been recording for several days in a row. Gu Huiyan's daily routine is pretty regular and he rarely stays up late. For such a person, it's amazing how energetic he can be after staying up several nights in a row. But he had to go, because it was an official public welfare program. Maybe it was because of the good performance in the Spring Festival Gala and the benefits brought to Gu Huiyan by the main theme songs such as Young Chinese Story and Wish. Gu Huiyan recently received many official program invitations. In fact, the announcement fee for a program like this is not much, it is just a normal level, but who said it is the official father's program? Generally, artists may not necessarily get one of these programs if they want to get scalps. This is not something that can be robbed. The resources available are all high-quality artists. Moreover, this type of program is beneficial to improving national awareness, which is quite important. That's probably why Gu Huiyan was photographed by fans offline for a few days, looking like he couldn't wake up. One day, he had dark circles under his eyes. You say, Gu Huiyan is so bear-like, while Pei Jingshu is radiant next door, how can we not be overthought by others? On the internet, there is a discussion about squeezing it dry, which is really intensifying. Gu Huiyan can't stand it anymore. He hasn't seen Pei Jingshu in the past month and a half. Why do you want to talk about it? In the midst of laughter, the time came in a blink of an eye when Gu Huiyan's contract with the company expired. His non-renewal of contract is no secret for a long time. Everyone in the company knows it, and there must be some people complaining. Who can not complain if such a big cash cow as MD is gone? But who told them that the temple was too small to keep Gu Huiyan? There is nothing we can do about this. Gu Huiyan, he was busy for a period of time before and after the year and also contributed a lot of benefits to the company. Some of the copyrights of the new drama Go to Where the Wind Is are also with them, which can be regarded as the most benevolent thing. In addition, Zhang Ma has blended it in, so there is no problem. The day after the contract expired, Mother Zhang took Gu Huiyan to register the company. To be honest, the name of the company was not easy to choose. Mother Zhang called Gu Huiyan a great talent and asked him to choose a meaningful one. Throw this burden to Gu Huiyan. But Gu Huiyan thought about it and finally came up with a few, but they all seemed average. The company name and the song title are also different. The song title only needs to echo the lyrics and respond to the theme. So how can it be so easy to come up with a company name? Mother Zhang, it's also interesting. She actually suggested that if she couldn't do that, she would name them after Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu with one word each. Jing and Media. How can you be so casual? Gu Huiyan rolled his eyes, and at the same time felt that it was unfair to Zhang Ma. This was just like the two of their companies. It sounds pretty good. Jiang's mother laughed and said, anyway, it is you two who are the golden signs. When the time comes, it will also be up to you to recruit people. You two are also the biggest cash cow. I don't care, as long as it can bring benefits to the company. The true nature of a businessman is evident. Gu Huiyan didn't even have the slightest doubt that if he hadn't brought her huge benefits, she wouldn't have gotten so close to him. All right. In the end, Gu Huiyan decided on the name Jing and Media. After registering the company, he had a special phone call with Pei Jingshu. To Gu Huiyan's surprise, Pei Jingshu actually liked the name and thought it was very pleasing to the eye and quite auspicious. After the company was registered, Gu Huiyan just left everything else to Zhang Ma. He didn't even know where the company was located. Zhang Nuan took him there later. On the day I went, Pei Jingshu also came to the capital for a long time. The studio was going to be merged into Jing and Media, so there must be a handover. The handover between Zhang Ma and Pei Ya was not smooth. After all, Zhang Ma did not like Pei Ya at all. Pei Ya was also afraid that her sister would be wronged, so the two of them had a tit-for-tat confrontation in the conference room. Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu couldn't stand it any longer, so they retreated early. No, I'm going to take a nap first. Gu Huiyan didn't say a word when he got home and went to bed to sleep. What's wrong with you? Are you feeling unwell? In March, when the temperature warmed up, Pei Jingshu wore a little thin clothing, just a white skirt at home. She gently walked to Gu Huiyan's bedside and sat down, raising her hand to rub Gu Huiyan's head, with a bit of concern in her eyes. A few months have passed, and Pei Jingshu's hair has grown much longer. At least now it is no longer just a small geo when tied with a headband. The high ponytail can barely be tied up. In a few months, I will probably be able to return to my previous black, long and straight goddess appearance. No. Gu Huiyan got up with all his strength and lay on Pei Jingshu's lap. He said that he had recorded several all-nighters recently. Hearing Pei Jingshu look distressed, she let him lie on her lap and said, "Then you go to sleep, I'll watch over you." Good. Gu Huiyan nodded and closed his eyes, but he couldn't fall asleep. After a while, Pei Jingshu turned over, which made Pei Jingshu happy. When she asked him what was going on, he said that I couldn't sleep with you next to me. It was afternoon, the curtains were drawn in the room, and the warm afternoon sun from the north shone yellow on the curtains. Gu Huiyan was lying on Pei Jingshu's lap, and he saw her face was red, and asked a little shyly. "Then, do you want?" "Huh? Do you want anything?" Gu Huiyan was stunned for a moment, not sure if he was pretending to be stupid or not. You know exactly what it is." Pei Jingshu raised her hand and pinched Gu Huiyan, which made Gu Huiyan happy and looked at Pei Jingshu strangely. "Why are you staring at me like that?" Pei Jingshu looked away embarrassedly. "No, I'm just curious. You don't seem like someone who would say such a thing, do you?" Gu Huiyan crossed his hands and asked strangely, his face full of teasing. Pei Jingshu felt even more embarrassed after saying this. She pushed him and pushed his head off her legs, saying, "Don't forget it." After saying that she was leaving. "Hey, don't. I'm just kidding. Come on, come on." Gu Huiyan, who was familiar with driving, pulled Pei Jingshu back. When he first came back, he said he was so sleepy that he would fall asleep, making him look like he had no strength at all. Now when he pulled Pei Jingshu, he was very strong. Big. The same goes for hugging her, and kissing her. Although Pei Jingshu is still very shy, she is actually used to it. The days passed quietly. At the end of the month, when the company was almost integrated, Zhang Ma, together with Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu, invited a group of friends and held a grand opening ceremony. Gu Huiyan was actually a little uncomfortable being the host for the first time, but his friends were really supportive. Basically, friends in the industry, whether they were directors, screenwriters, musicians, or celebrities and artist friends, no matter how big the name was, everyone was invited. Basically everyone was present. Even the actor Su, who rarely attends such scenes, is here. He is really supportive. He even wrote Gu Huiyan's speech. What a good person. It's just that occasionally he will be looking for someone in the crowd. No need to ask, they must be looking for Xilan, but it's a pity that Xilan didn't come. It's not that Gu Huiyan didn't invite, it's mainly because Sister Xilan has been abroad recently. Her work focus seems to have been placed abroad in the past 2 years, not only in business, the same is true in the entertainment industry. We are done at home, why not go abroad? Although she didn't come, she still gave her the most sincere blessings and also gave her an opening gift, which was a jade-carved kirin. It was said that the raw materials were a bit expensive, and Mother Zhang praised her repeatedly. We were talking about Xilan at that time, and Zhang Ma also told Gu Huiyan that their movie Go Where the Wind Is would be released this year. Gu Huiyan was a little surprised after hearing this. The filming was completed last year and will be released this year. Is it so fast? Generally, it takes at least a year or two for a film to be filmed and submitted for review, and then to be reviewed and released. Zhang Ma explained, don't even look at whose drama it is. What kind of rubbish has the domestic drama market become in the past 2 years? It's rare for movie queen Xilan to film a drama, and she still partners with you, who has such a big flow. This drama will be early in the morning, okay, the platform will arrange it as soon as possible after passing the review. That's it? Gu Huiyan looked astonished. It's not just this. Zhang Ma also explained, saying that it seems that the local government wants to cooperate with this drama to do tourism promotion. Recently, Gu Huiyan has been participating in official programs a lot. It is the Spring Festival Gala and it is for charity. The image is very positive, which is quite suitable for promotion. I go. Gu Huiyan was a little surprised. He really didn't expect that running an official dad's program would have such benefits. What an unexpected surprise. Maybe it was because the opening made a lot of noise and there were many guests present. Gu Huiyan's new company Jing and Media later became a hot search topic. And when fans heard that it was their Pei Ban Care CP Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu jointly established a new company, they were really happy. Jing'an was named after Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu. The media is also very popular and recognizable. Fans can easily remember it. Word of mouth spreads it, and Jing'an Media has almost become an internet celebrity company. Likewise, because of the two golden names of Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu, the company has been recruiting people smoothly, and many newcomers are very willing to sign with their company to grab a share of the scalp. It's not even graduation season yet. It's really about to happen, and there are still many good talents in major performing arts schools and music conservatories. Of course, not only newcomers, but also many well-known artists whose contracts are about to expire also want to sign Jing'an. Among them is an artist who Gu Huiyan is very familiar with. Little Clip Shen Ching Ching. Gu Huiyan accidentally saw her when he went to the company a month later, and was surprised to hear that she had been signed by Zhang Ma. Brother Huiyan, don't forget to write a song for me. Sister Qing was still flirting with Gu Huiyan when they were leaving. Gu Huiyan knew how Zhang Ma signed the contract for her without even asking. No, can we use some serious means? Gu Huiyan had a headache. Mother Zhang really used him as a songwriter machine. As far as he knew, Mother Zhang had promised many valuable artists a few of his works every year as a bargaining chip. Regarding this, Zhang Ma just laughed and said that you are the big boss. If the company has many well-known artists, it will become bigger and better, and your income will also increase, won't it? In the future, if you don't want to work anymore, you can just retire. If you don't know how to lead a team, you can only work until you die. Do you want me to teach you this? This means that Gu Huiyan has no room for refutation. One thing is for sure, his works are really the greatest competitiveness. There are many people in the industry competing for his scalp for one of his songs, with offers ranging from millions to tens of millions. Gu Huiyan is not short of money, but if he is short, he can make money every minute by writing 2 songs. Mother Zhang is also a good person, so she laughed and told Gu Huiyan, saying that I am the one who holds the chips, and it is you who decides whether to write songs or not, and when to write them. Isn't it up to you whether you want to write them or not? Gu Huiyan almost rolled his eyes after hearing this. Good guy, I need Mother Zhang to understand this piece of cake. In addition to writing songs, Zhang Ma also asked Gu Huiyan if he had any ideas for writing scripts recently. The main reason is that Gu Huiyan's Go to Where the Wind Is was indeed well written. It can be seen that there is a foundation, and if this drama becomes a hit, Gu Huiyan will also have the opportunity to film more movies in the future. This is a pretty big market, and Gu Huiyan really wants to get involved if he has the chance. Anyway, he has become a god in the music world, and there is still a long time to come, so it would be good to take another route. So Gu Huiyan casually dumped out a few scripts, including movies and TV series. The one he liked the most was called Sword and Sword 3. Every character in it is quite spiritual. Mother Zhang was very satisfied after reading this. Even people as rich as her praised Gu Huiyan with gleaming eyes, saying that with these scripts, even if you don't write songs, there will be many people coming to us. It is worth mentioning that on the same day, she went to register the copyrights of these scripts one by one, as if she was afraid that others would steal them first. Gu Huiyan shook his head, became his hands-off shopkeeper again, and flew to Shanghai to play house with Pei Jingshu that night. Speaking of which, Gu Huiyan has not been too busy recently. Apart from a few long-term endorsements and running official programs, he basically has no other work. It's not that there is nothing, the main reason is that he is preparing for this year's tour, which will start in May. The first stop is from his hometown Quancheng, and he will visit dozens of first-tier cities. Naturally, the preparation stage will not be very busy. In the past, I was busy with work and separated from Pei Jingshu and could not see each other all day long. Now that I have time, Gu Huiyan wishes he could stay with Pei Jingshu every day. When Pei Jingshu went to shoot, he would follow her to the studio. When Pei Jingshu participated in an event, he would wait in the car. Even when Pei Jingshu went abroad to participate in a fashion week, this old six didn't get invited and actually followed her. Went. Some media captured a picture of this old man wearing a hat and sunglasses eating hot dogs on the street while waiting for Pei Jingshu. It was a bit miserable. Because of this, Gu Huiyan won a new title. The Doting Wife Maniac. Follow us all the time. I'm afraid that my beloved wife will be wronged outside. This is it. It's really fun for the fans to see, that is to say, this kind of pay band takes care of CP is the best, right? It is worth mentioning that after all, he is the absolute top in domestic entertainment. The music king Gu Huiyan, who has a certain status in the hearts of Chinese people all over the world, is quite popular wherever he goes. Even at foreign fashion weeks, he is also asked to take photos with some foreign celebrities. Signed. This actually makes his eye-bag fans quite proud. Just like that, in a blink of an eye, it's May and Gu Huiyan's first solo concert begins. As for the tickets, of course there is no need to ask. On the day the ticket was issued, it was empty within 5 seconds. Gu Huiyan's career and relationship seemed to be going smoothly this year, and it was countless times better than last year. It seems that without someone, there is really nothing on his way that can trip him up. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 384. In May, Gu Huiyan's solo tour kicked off in his hometown of Quancheng. The venue was not big, with less than 20,000 people in it, but the audience was very enthusiastic, and they were in high spirits almost from start to finish. That is to say, from May until the end of the year, Gu Huiyan basically held concerts. Either I'm having a concert or I'm on the way to a concert. In the meantime, they did other things. For example, in June, Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu were invited to participate in the Golden Melody Awards. As the undisputed king of the domestic entertainment industry, Gu Huiyan almost won the Best Composer, and Lyricist awards. Producer, Best Singer, Best New Artist, etc. all awards. On the day of the award ceremony, a song by Gu Huiyan really started playing every now and then. As soon as Gu Huiyan went down, he came up again after a while, repeating the cycle several times. At the beginning, the first time I went on stage to receive an award, I gave a convincing speech. The second time it was okay. The third time, I was a little bit confused about what to say. By the fourth and fifth time, I said one or two sentences. Just went down. After that, I really have no words. I can only say thank you and that's it. Haha. Many colleagues and fans at the scene were entertained. He was the only one who had nothing to say in his acceptance speech, but Gu Huiyan. Tonight, that person is Gu Huiyan. If anyone else wins so many awards, he will definitely be questioned as a shady person. It is said that it is the Golden Melody Award held by his family. Of course, Gu Huiyan did not round up all the works. For example, the Best Song Award was not awarded to Gu Huiyan, but to Pei Jingshu and her meeting. Well, yes, this song was also written by Gu Huiyan, so strictly speaking, Bao Yuaner is not wrong. Fans couldn't help but lament that the only one who could defeat Gu Huiyan was Gu Huiyan himself or his girlfriend. On the night of the Golden Melody Awards, Gu Huiyan also made a lot of hot searches, mainly because this wave was really interesting. There was no such exaggeration in the history of the Golden Melody Awards that almost all the awards were won by one person. The same goes for Gu Huiyan. If you don't win any prizes, there won't be any. Once you win the prize, you will get so many. In the past, when he went to various programs, some introduced masterpieces, some introduced people who won awards, but he always had nothing to introduce in the awards column. But since going to the Golden Melody Awards, every time he appeared on the program, if there were awards introduced, then I can't even introduce them all. What an exaggeration. When the Golden Melody Awards came back, Gu Huiyan's concert was held all the way back to Suzhou. It is worth mentioning that Gu Huiyan reserved tickets for each of his concerts for his family, friends, and Pei Jingshu's parents and friends. In this regard, Father Pei was quite satisfied and praised Gu Huiyan a lot. During the local performance in Suzhou, Gu Huiyan sang a relatively rock song called Swing Together. This song was very rock-heavy and suited Pei's father's taste. After the performance, Gu Huiyan was even invited to his home for dinner alone by Pei's father. This was the first time that Gu Huiyan went to Pei Jingshu's house for dinner when she was away. It is worth mentioning that because he drank too much that day, the high-speed rail time was delayed the next morning, so Gu Huiyan was forced to buy a station ticket for the high-speed rail. This must be Gu Huiyan's first time buying a standing ticket, but it certainly won't be the last. During the National Day in October, his tour went all the way to Shanghai. There were too many people during the tourist season, and he couldn't get a ticket at the moment, so he was forced to choose a standing ticket. At that time, there was a video circulating on the internet that was suspected of bumping into Gu Huiyan in the aisle of the high-speed train. At first, some people said that this was definitely not Gu Huiyan. The big star must have been in a business class seat on the high-speed train. No matter how bad it was, he had to have a seat. How could he be squatting in the aisle with him? Like begging for food. But the fact is that it was indeed Gu Huiyan. Afterwards, Gu Huiyan posted a special post, lamenting the number of people traveling during the festival and lamenting his own misery. The copy even says, "I've never been this miserable before when I was a trainee." This matter even became a hot search topic. Ah ha ha ha. Countless fans and audiences are laughing their heads off. Who dares to think that a music king, a popular artist, and an A-list star who has been touring for nearly a year since the beginning, has no seat on the high-speed train and squats in the aisle? Ding, the host's grounding energy has been exposed, and the reward points are at 10,086. The tour lasted from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, and the finale was back to the capital. At that time, it was almost the end of December in the solar year, and the damn weather in the capital had returned to below zero. After the tour, Gu Huiyan felt like it's quite tiring, but speaking of enthusiasm, it hasn't cooled down with the weather. He visited many cities along the way and met many people and fans. The fans in several cities were so enthusiastic that he was forced to temporarily add a show the next day, and there were countless things like encores. There were several times. They were even fined for exceeding the time limit. That is to say, Jing and Media, where he works now, is his own company. Anyone who is still affiliated with the company will have to let the company cause trouble for him. Of course, the reason why Gu Huiyan remains enthusiastic is also because this last scene is in the Bird's Nest. The Bird's Nest is a venue that can accommodate 100,000 people. It is actually a bit exaggerated to say 100,000 people. The location of the stage requires space and enough aisles. The official data is only 91,000 people, let alone in reality. That's probably more than 80,000 people. But even so, this is the most crowded place along Gu Huiyan's journey. And this day, he chose New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve, a tradition that has only gradually emerged in recent years, is actually the Gregorian New Year. Young people like to celebrate this festival, go shopping, and count down to the new year. And if I could count down to Gu Huiyan's concert on New Year's Eve, then I would be truly happy. It is worth mentioning that the tickets for the concert at the Bird's Nest were sold at an exaggerated price and were sold out within 10 seconds. Maybe it's because of the good reputation he has accumulated along the way. Gu Huiyan's concert tickets have never been worried about selling. They are basically sold out in seconds, and almost every venue is full. The attendance rate of each concert has reached 100%, which is terrifyingly high. Even though the tour has been going on for a year, there are still many fans online saying that they didn't get enough to see it, they didn't get tickets, and so on. What's more, it directly stimulated Gu Huiyan and said, "Who is Gu Huiyan? Some unknown and unpopular star? If you have the ability, come to the opening concert to see your capabilities." That was the abacus. Gu Huiyan heard it when he was squatting in the high-speed rail aisle. So recently, Mother Zhang has really been telling Gu Huiyan that if it doesn't work, she can continue touring next year. Domestic this year, maybe go abroad next year. Mother Zhang did a survey in the middle of the year and found that Gu Huiyan is also very popular in foreign markets. Many Chinese students among them also want to watch Gu Huiyan's concert. If they drive there, I guess I won't have to worry about selling tickets. Talk later. Gu Huiyan waved his hand and said that he had been singing for a whole year. To be honest, he was a little tired. Whether he wants to go on a foreign tour depends on how well he rests next year. Go when you're well rested, and take a break for half a year if you're not in good shape. Anyway, after this whole year of touring, Gu Huiyan also made a lot of money. And the last scene must be sung well. On New Year's Eve, Gu Huiyan and more than 80,000 spectators gathered in the Bird's Nest Stadium as scheduled. Oh! Gu Huiyan! Gu Huiyan! Gu Huiyan! The whole audience had been shouting Gu Huiyan's name before he came on the stage. Having held so many concerts, Gu Huiyan also accumulated rich experience. In the past, he would worry about which song to open with. He was always reluctant to open with a good song and wanted to save it. The exciting part in the middle, I don't have to think about it a lot of the time, just use it casually. For example, today, Gu Huiyan was directly at the beginning of Reverse War. Do 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 do. As soon as the sound of the electric guitar came out at the scene, The whole place immediately became excited. Ah! Then Gu Huiyan jumped up on the lifting platform in an Ultraman appearance manner. Let me tell you something, although Gu Huiyan has many excellent works nowadays, Reverse War is still the best song to ignite the scene, okay. It was the last performance. Even though his singing voice was a little tired, Gu Huiyan still tried his best. He basically sang all the popular songs and was full of sincerity. Occasionally joking with the audience in the front row of the infield is quite interesting, so that everyone who comes to watch his concert during the Chinese New Year will not suffer. Wow, I really envy you. It is worth mentioning that after Gu Huiyan sang a popular song Summer in Winter, he sat on the piano, holding the warm baby in his hands, looking like he was shivering from the cold, and he did not forget to interact with the audience. Ha ha ha. The audience burst out laughing. Gu Huiyan, no matter how famous he is, has never changed. By the way, this is the first time they have seen a celebrity holding a warm baby. At that time, the big screen showed a lot of people, including many couples. Some of the people who came to watch the concert did come by themselves, but they were very few. Many of them came with their male, friends. Why are you all in love with each other? Gu Huiyan was holding a warm baby in his hand, wearing some exaggerated clothes, sitting in front of the piano that he had spent a lot of money to rent, shivering from the cold. On New Year's Eve, the coldest night in Beijing was over 10 degrees below zero. It must have been below zero by now. Gu Huiyan was wearing thin clothes. Just like that, the whole audience sang without being out of tune, except for the slightly heavy vibrato. Outside of control, there is almost nothing wrong with it. Not bad, okay. Haha. The audience laughed, and some even gloated and cheered. This year, Pei Jingshu seems to be in her flowering period. From the beginning to the end of the year, whenever she appears in the audience's field of vision, she must look like a god of beauty has come. Therefore, her career has ushered in a period of full-scale explosion. All kinds of high-end endorsements are available, and any guest appearance on a show can lead to skyrocketing ratings. In the second half of the year, Gu Huiyan created a personal album tailored for Pei Jingshu. Several songs in it, such as Lost Sandbank, Short Hair, Forever Young, Clouds and Smoke Turn into Rain, and A Dream are all popular. The fire is a mess. Because of this, Pei Jingshu was forced to start a concert in the second half of the year, because the fans were so enthusiastic that news calling for her to hold a concert even topped the trending search. Because of this, Pei Jingshu was so busy in the second half of the year, which made her complain to Gu Huiyan every time they met, saying that it was because he wrote his songs so well that she was so busy and tired. Gu Huiyan, who took the blame, looked unjust. Why the hell is there anyone who dislikes the song? Having said that, although they were both very busy, the two of them met frequently, mainly because Gu Huiyan had to fly to Pei Jingshu's place whenever he had some free time after a concert. He even went as a guest at the first stop of Pei Jingshu's tour in the second half of the year, when he was in the magical city of Shanghai. The song Stubborn was being sung at that time. When Gu Huiyan opened his mouth, the whole audience was shouting so loudly that they became inhumane. It is said that several people even fainted. Of course, Pei Jingshu doesn't just like Gu Huiyan going there, it's mainly because she is tired from her usual work. When Gu Huiyan goes, she will definitely not have a good rest in those few days. Later, she even avoided Gu Huiyan, and once she played a trick and invited Gu Huiyan to come when her relatives came, so as to satisfy Gu Huiyan's resentment. If there was a resentment value system, he would definitely have contributed a resentment value of 91x10086 at that time. Ahem, that's too far off topic. Let's go back to the concert scene. Pei Jingshu didn't have a concert today, but she probably wasn't there either. She was very busy, where would she have time to come? During the Chinese New Year, Gu Huiyan sang alone on the stage. Looking at the crowds below, there were probably tens of thousands of couples making love to each other. Pei-ban takes care of CP, who usually spreads dog food like crazy, but Gu Huiyan also had a day of eating dog food. It made many viewers laugh. Bring it on. Gu Huiyan shook his head and started playing the piano. Dong dong. Together with that silky and familiar melody. Oh! The whole audience suddenly burst into cheers. Because that song is called Together No Matter How Far Away. It's a song from when Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu were in a long-distance relationship. At this moment, the audience suddenly understood why Gu Huiyan suddenly mentioned Pei Jingshu just now. It turned out to be to make everyone think of it and sing this song. Ding ding dong dong. Gu Huiyan was playing the piano in his hand, and the orange-red warm baby was placed on the white piano, which looked a little funny. Everyone was originally looking forward to singing the song Together No Matter How Far Away with Gu Huiyan, but what was a little strange was that when the main song was about to come, Gu Huiyan didn't seem to have any intention of opening his mouth to sing. And just at this time, on both sides of the stage, from the stands on the high platform, a burst of screams suddenly erupted. Many spectators in the rich seats in the infield were really confused, thinking to themselves, what do these poor people call themselves? How did they know that from the poor position they looked down on, from the high stands on both sides of the stage, they could just see the slim figure gradually rising on the stage? It was at that time. I want to listen to the music you have heard. I want to read the novel you have read. I want to collect every moment, I want to see the world through your eyes. The voice of a very recognizable female singer rang out from every speaker in this huge stadium, and accurately echoed in the ears of every audience. Just the next moment. The crowd of more than 80,000 people screamed crazy. Because that voice is Pei Jingshu's voice. Good guy, I'm just a good guy. So your kid is waiting here. I said, why are you mentioning this all of a sudden? It turns out we're going to show off our affection. Haha, who just said that Gu Huiyan eats dog food? This surprise came suddenly. Gu Huiyan's tour lasted for a whole year. During this period, he also found some guests, but his family member Pei Jingshu was the only one who never came once. There is no way, she is too busy, even if the two of them see each other often, it is difficult to get together at work. They really didn't expect that at the last show of the tour, on this day in the Gregorian calendar year, at the Bird's Nest, Pei Jingshu would come to Gu Huiyan's concert as a guest. Pei-ban takes care of CP. It's been a long time coming together, do you think they can't be excited? Many people shouted until their voices became hoarse. It is worth mentioning that today Pei Jingshu chose a white long dress with gold rims. More than a year has passed, and her long black hair has long since grown out. She is not fat this year. She is not thin, her body is still so well proportioned, but for some reason, her temperament gives people a feeling of reborn. It seems to be getting more mature, and the delicate flowers have entered the real flowering period. Pei Jingshu in her Huaguduo stage was a well-deserved famous face for domestic entertainment, and now it goes without saying. Just the appearance of that face on the big screen is enough for everyone to shout for several minutes without stopping. Let's welcome my girlfriend. At that time, Gu Huiyan had a bit of a treacherous plot-succeeded smile on his face, and he raised his hand while playing the piano. No need for him to say anything, everyone in the audience shouted. Pei Jing Shu. Then, there were all kinds of ghosts crying and howling. It happened to be the chorus, and Gu Huiyan sang a big chorus, and the whole audience sang together. I can get used to the long distance. Love is always something you can't have by yourself. I would rather, in another way, at least I can still love you from a distance. Love overcomes distance. No matter how far away we are, together. You no longer exist in my world. Please don't leave my memories. Oh. Many audience members got goosebumps while singing. Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu on the stage sang two versions of Together No Matter How Far Away respectively. Both were very nice, so they felt very satisfied and hearty when they sang together. Haha. It is worth mentioning that I don't know if it was because the atmosphere was so good that when I started to sing, I didn't need to play the piano in the second half. During the interlude of the two sections, Gu Huiyan stood up, took out the microphone and ran to Pei Jingshu's side. Momentary excitement. He directly hugged Pei Jingshu's face and kissed her from the side. Ah! At that time, the whole scene just exploded. Pei Jingshu could still sing, but when he kissed her like this, her delicate and pretty face suddenly turned red, and she could only cover her mouth and turn her back to hide from the camera. What's even worse is that someone filmed the scene when Gu Huiyan kissed her face, and her expression was a bit ferocious. Later, this matter became a hot search topic, called Hashtag Gu Huiyan transformed Pei Jingshu's face. Hashtag hot comments from fans. Sister Pei, this is the only time in my life that I have been called ugly. Gu Huiyan's true fan said that he has sent him a washboard worth 100 yuan. I sent durian. Ahaha. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 385. Everyone has anti-fans, and Pei Jingshu is no exception. Since her debut, some have said that she is a flower vase, while others have said that her singing skills are not good, but no one ever called her ugly. That face can arouse cheers from the audience as soon as it appears at the Bird's Nest concert with more than 80,000 people. It can turn them into scum in seconds when appearing in various domestic and foreign events and being in the same frame with all kinds of glamorous female stars. But today, because of Gu Huiyan, he was involved with ugly. Can you think about the consequences before doing things in the future? Can you not be so excited all the time? Considering that she had Pei Jingshu's personality, she couldn't help but give Gu Huiyan a few words of scolding afterward. I don't blame her. Just look at the pictures and videos uploaded on the internet. Her face was really squeezed between Gu Huiyan's hands and mouth. Because it was so sudden, her expression was so strange that she was completely covered in a ferocious look. It's like being squeezed by a door. Please. No matter whose face it is, if it's squeezed by the door, it won't go anywhere, right? Okay, I know, I won't do this next time. Gu Huiyan didn't talk back. Pei Jingshu liked Gu Huiyan's personality of not arguing with others. Every time she was a little unhappy, Gu Huiyan would immediately give in and try to comfort her. In fact, it was not like this before. This person used to be a bit straight, and this is known to the entire internet. Later, Pei Jingshu asked Gu Huiyan what was going on and felt that he had changed a bit in the past 2 years. Gu Huiyan naturally said that he learned it from his uncle, which made Pei Jingshu amused. She couldn't help but feel disgusted and patted Gu Huiyan a few times and said, "It's better if you don't learn something." "Why can't I learn from my uncle?" Gu Huiyan asked back. Pei Jingshu was speechless for a moment, because her mother always said that her father was shameless since she was a child. "I will definitely complain to uncle next time I go there," Gu Huiyan said with a grin. "Whatever you want," Pei Jingshu glared at him and turned around to sulk again. Speaking of the next meeting, it will actually be very soon. During the Chinese New Year period, Gu Huiyan's tour is over. He can rest after a long time. Pei Jingshu also happens to have some free time. So this year, Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu discussed that the two families could come together. Go to Hainan for a vacation. It's not cold there after all. Pei Jingshu definitely didn't have any objections. After telling her parents, the parents on both sides didn't have any objections either. Everything had been planned well. Gu Huiyan had calculated the time, and he and Pei Jingshu were going to attend this year's Spring Festival Gala just in time when they returned from vacation. The result is really awesome. The concert just ended. He hadn't even rested for a few days when he received a notice from his former company, Guangzhou Media, saying that Go Where the Wind Is with Xylan would be released at the end of the year. He asked about his schedule and that he would participate in some promotions at the end of the year. Activity. At that time, Gu Huiyan had no love in his life, so he almost scolded his mother. Please, when will this drama be good? Does it have to be aired now? At the beginning of the year, when Jing'an Media opened, Gu Huiyan heard from Jiang's mother that Go Where the Wind Is would be released by the end of the year. Gu Huiyan had been busy touring this year and had forgotten about it. It's the end of the year, I wonder. No matter what, you wouldn't choose to go there during the Chinese New Year, right? But obviously, Gu Huiyan's crow's mouth came true, and he really celebrated the New Year. Gu Huiyan felt embarrassed when he told Pei Jingshu about this. It was the first time the two families celebrated the New Year together, and he was not there. This was a bit awkward no matter how you put it. Pei Jingshu is quite understanding, and said that she is quite familiar with Gu Ma. She can take care of two families by herself. There are not many people anyway, so it is not a big problem. Let him concentrate on his work and come back when he is done. Good. This made Gu Huiyan a little pleased. Pei Jingshu really followed her mother in terms of being a good wife, and they both had very understanding personalities. That's all. Not long after the tour, Gu Huiyan embarked on the road to participate in the promotion of Go Where the Wind Is. The first stop was in the capital, where a press conference was held. TV dramas are different from movies. Movies generally have various road shows, house sweeping and other activities, while TV dramas have fewer activities. Gu Huiyan is also glad that this is a drama and not a movie, otherwise I really can't spare the time to go back during the Chinese New Year this year. Teacher Xiao Gu. Hey, long time no see. You've become so handsome. When Gu Huiyan arrived at the scene, he saw many cast members for the first time in a long time. To be honest, many of them had not been seen since the filming was completed. It had been more than a year, and Gu Huiyan was still a little unfamiliar with many people. But they are quite enthusiastic. There is nothing they can do about it. Just take a look at what Gu Huiyan's career has been like in the past 2 years. After the filming of Go Where the Wind Is was completed, he did go into a trough due to his breakup with Pei Jingshu, but since he climbed out of the trough, he has been soaring all the way, like riding a rocket. This year's tour was a complete success, and he also established his own new company. His career is in full swing. This year, he is simply red and purple, okay. His current status in the industry is that of a well-deserved king of heaven. He is popular and naturally surrounded by many people. Fortunately, Gu Huiyan had long been accustomed to the enthusiasm of the people around him, and chatted with them one after another. Xylan arrived after Gu Huiyan. Gu Huiyan might be a little unfamiliar with others, but not with Xylan, because even though she has been busy touring this year, Xylan is often out of the country, but they still meet every once in a while. Make an appointment for dinner or something. Don't get me wrong, it's just a date to have a meal and talk about how things are going. You look so handsome today. When she sees her younger brother, her sister always has a faint smile on her face. Today, Xylan chose a black dress. The sleeves are loose but the shoulders are a bit tight. The pattern is like a mandala, which looks quite unique. In terms of temperament, my sister is as good as an international supermodel. Not only did the years not leave any traces on my sister's face, but as time went by, the smell on her body became more prominent. Sister Xylan is also beautiful. Gu Huiyan hugged Xylan generously, and the two were chatting. Gu Huiyan said it was really fast, but Xylan said it was fast. I also want to say that I finally got on. It seems that he is somewhat looking forward to the meaning of this drama. After chatting about the show and their respective lives, Gu Huiyan had time to complain about the show, which delayed him from spending time with his parents on vacation. Xylan giggled and said that you are very unlucky. Talking about herself, she said that she has been free recently and has been in a small courtyard in Yunnan these days. Oh, it's the yard you bought, right? Gu Huiyan suddenly remembered that Xylan seemed to have given him the key. I thank you for remembering. Xylan smiled and rolled her eyes at Gu Huiyan and said. You have been to Yunnan no less than 10 times this year, but I have never seen you stay there once. Oops, I forgot. Gu Huiyan could only wave his hand reluctantly. He mainly didn't want to trouble others. It wouldn't be outrageous to live in someone else's house when others are not around, right? Saying this, Gu Huiyan was suddenly startled and looked at Xylan strangely. By the way, Sister Xylan, how do you know that I have been to Yunnan no less than 10 times? Xylan was stunned for a moment, then coughed lightly and said with evasive eyes. Guess. Can you guess this? Gu Huiyan didn't think much about it. If he didn't use his brain, he really should donate it. Xylan breathed a sigh of relief silently, straightened her demeanor a little, returned to her intellectual and generous look, raised her jade hand and poked Gu Huiyan's forehead with a green jade finger, pointed to the other side, and said. It's gone, it's over. The press conference has begun, there is no time to talk. After the night of the press conference, Go Where the Wind Is with Xylan was released online. This drama came out very suddenly, without any announcement in advance. Even though there were some Reuters news during the filming, many fans and viewers have almost forgotten about it in the past year or so. It suddenly went online without any announcement, and some viewers were caught off guard. I'll go, Gu Huiyan and Xylan are filming a scene. No, why haven't I heard of it before? At secretary, check. Check it for me. I just remember that the two of them filmed a drama 2 years ago, and I almost forgot. Hey, it's interesting to see the promotional posters. Watched 3 episodes and it's very exciting. Sisters, please follow me. Xylan is a well-known movie queen. Her reputation is excellent both in and outside the industry, so she has accumulated a large number of drama fans. Basically, her dramas are now hits. In the past 2 years, Xylan has been busy entering overseas markets, and her domestic output is actually slightly insufficient. The voices of drama fans calling for new dramas have become increasingly strong. Suddenly a new drama was launched, and fans were naturally excited. Let's talk about Gu Huiyan. He is a well-known music king who crosses over to film. This is a big gimmick. At first, many people did not have high expectations for his debut film, but they did not expect his performance after appearing on the screen. It's not bad. After only a few episodes were released that night, the response has been very good. The popularity of the two people, coupled with the reputation of the two people, and just the support of fans from both parties, this drama that has just been aired has already made it into the top 3 of the hot search lists on various platforms. On the video platform where it is broadcast, this drama has directly dominated the list of views and searches since that night. And this situation continues to ferment. As time goes by, a week passes, and the number of episodes increases. The scenes and contents of this show become more and more interesting, and more people watch it. And as many fans fell into the trap, some people slowly began to see something unusual. No, why are some of the scenes similar to when Gu Huiyan and the others recorded Crystal Love Season? Ayo, Awan, Anna, they look so familiar. Haha, I have wanted to say it for a long time, especially the fungus poisoning. I still remember it fresh. I still remember Shang Xuan holding Gu Huiyan and chewing on her, haha. That is to say, if you take a look at the screenwriter's name, you won't be so confused. Screenwriter Gu Huiyan? So the hell is this written by Gu Huiyan? Hey guys, this is Crystal Love Season made into a drama. Gu Huiyan really has you. I wonder why it resonates so much. Gu Huiyan, this is why art comes from life. People always say that art comes from life, and Gu Huiyan embodied it in a practical way. When watching the show, many people couldn't help but think of some scenes from Crystal Love Season, especially the fungus poisoning, which left a deep impression. Of course, the one who made the most profound impression on the fungus poisoning incident must be Shang Xuoyan, who was holding Gu Huiyan and chewing on him, using him as a cake and a chicken leg. Shang Xuoyan has always been a very distinctive girl, and wherever she is always full of joy. She used to be a frequent visitor to variety shows. When it comes to eyebrows, she is no less impressive than Gu Huiyan. It's just a pity that so many things happened later. Sigh, I don't know how she is doing now. Many fans feel somewhat lonely when mentioning Shang Xuoyan. In the breakup incident between Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu, many people were implicated, including Xylin, Su Yuntang, and of course Shang Xuoyan. But Shang Xuoyan is the only one injured. Later, Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu officially announced their reunion. Now one of them is the king of the music industry and the other is the top queen. They are both big names who can be watched by everyone wherever they go. Xylin took her anti-fans to court. In recent years, she has been busy entering foreign markets, making movies, and running her own overseas clothing brand. In her free time, she spends time in a small courtyard in Yunnan, and her life can be considered relaxed. The best actor Su has often appeared in movies in recent years. Last year, he invited Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu to attend an offline road show for a suspense film. Thanks to Gu Huiyan's favor of blocking the gun, PD Zhang now occasionally performs on variety shows and holds concerts. He also goes abroad to participate in various fashion shows when he has nothing to do. Most of the time, he moves behind the scenes, and his life is quite comfortable. Even the little girl Shen Qingqing became a hit with the drama. Last year, Gu Huiyan wrote 2 Saliva songs for her, and they have always maintained popularity. Nowadays, their careers and lives are booming and getting better and better. They even appeared in a drama about the variety show Crystal Love Season that they recorded together. Only Shang Xuoyan seems to have completely disappeared from public view. This year, there is no news from her. Some foreign paparazzi had photographed her before, saying that she had gone to Bangsa country to develop her career, but until recently, there was no news about her at all. When watching Go Where the Wind Is, many fans will think of Crystal Love Season, and in Crystal Love Season, the most impressive thing for many people is probably the fight between Gu Huiyan and Shang Xuoyan all day long. Scene. But now, the ever-changing girl from before has almost disappeared. You said, how can the audience not feel sad? Even though many of them had scolded Shang Xuoyan at the beginning, they could not deny that Shang Xuoyan was the only one in this domestic entertainment industry. Gu Huiyan usually surfs the internet to refresh the reviews of dramas when he has nothing to do. After all, it is his first drama. Occasionally, you can see news related to Shang Xuoyan. Strangely enough, Gu Huiyan also wondered why he hadn't received any news about Shang Xuoyan in more than a year. I remember when I attended the Spring Festival Gala last year, I heard Sister Xylin say that Shang Xuoyan had formed a new group and was going to perform in Europe and the United States. Why was there no sound at all? Maybe we can't be together anymore, but Gu Huiyan still hopes that she will have a good life. If he doesn't receive any news, he feels a little uneasy. Because Go Where the Wind Is very popular, Gu Huiyan participated in many offline promotional activities with the crew, because the beautiful scenery of Yunnan in the play is very attractive, and it also stimulated a wave of local tourism. In the past 2 days, Gu Huiyan was invited to participate in a local tourism promotion event. Not only him, but also Xylin and everyone in the crew were there. During the promotion, Gu Huiyan asked, "Do you know what's going on with her?" The her in his mouth was obviously Shang Xuoyan. Maybe he was too busy this year, or maybe he deliberately wanted to forget all this. Gu Huiyan often couldn't think of Shang Xuoyan. Only occasionally when singing code do I think of some scenes from their past. Zylan said during the Spring Festival Gala last year that she had Zwoyan's contact information there. This year she seemed to have attended some activities there, and Gu Huiyan thought she might know something. What made Gu Huiyan a little strange was that after hearing this, Zylan opened her mouth, and a strange look of daze and hesitation passed over her pretty face full of exotic charm. In the end she just shook her head and said, "I'm not sure. I haven't been in contact recently. I'll ask you later." Okay. Although he found it strange, Gu Huiyan didn't ask too many questions. Zylan, on the other hand, changed the subject and asked Gu Huiyan, "Where will you stay tonight?" Gu Huiyan was stunned for a moment, apparently aware of the hint in Zylan's words. Because they were participating in a local tourism promotion event, they were in Dali today, and it happened to be not very far from Zylan's yard. Gu Huiyan smiled helplessly and said, "Sister Zylan, let me make your arrangements." Hearing this, Zylan couldn't help but chuckle and said, "After the event is over, just ask the staff to go back first. Get your things and wait for me. I will take you there." "Good." Gu Huiyan nodded, thinking that Sister Zylan was quite mysterious. After the event, Gu Huiyan said hello to Zhang Nuan and others. The assistant handed his luggage to Zylan. After a while, Zylan drove over. Zylan drove the car herself, which made Gu Huiyan a little uncomfortable. She also said, "I've never been in a car driven by you, Sister Zylan." Zylan smiled when she heard this and said, "What? You don't dare to sit in the female driver's car? It's not like." Gu Huiyan waved his hand, put down his things and got into the passenger seat, which made Zylan quite satisfied. The weather is very good today, the sky is blue, and the scenery along Erhai Lake is also beautiful. Erhai Lake on a sunny day is always so attractive. It was on this sunny afternoon that Zylan drove Gu Huiyan. "Go home."